All right, y'all. Welcome
Yes.
to the SoundFlick podcast. Yeah. This is episode 63. 62. Episode 62 with the guys.
The boys.
Yeah, man.
Reporting here live from Productive Culture Studios. We are super excited to be here. This is our...
This is probably, before you say anything, this is probably our best set yet.
I mean...
And I'm proud of it.
Yeah, this is a very proud moment right now with this set.
Yeah.
This is just all of our...
And we're going to aim for this at almost every episode now. Try to.
Hey, man.
Now he's just setting us up. But, you know, this is special. We wanted to make this special.
It's going to be big.
Yes, 2022 is going to be big. We wanted to make this special because we had an amazing year. And this is our last episode of 2021.
What a way to end it.
Yeah, for real. Very good way to end it.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Ending it seeing one of the most highly anticipated movies of the year.
Movie of the year, but we'll save that for later.
You know, and we are also going to go over our coveted Flickie Awards.
The Flickies!
Exactly, where we talk about all of the movies and the categories that just brought us through the year. And I have my wonderful co-stars with me. To my right is...
Skywalker Mike.
And then to the front of me is...
Hi, guys. My name is A-Cine.
He forgot.
He forgets his name all the time.
I don't forget. I just which Cine do I want to be today? Which me do I want to be
Which
today?
variant?
So you're A-Cine?
Which variant do I want to be?
Which variant? See?
So A-Cine is the, it's been a day.
Okay.
I'm still myself, but it's been a day.
Okay. All right.
You know,
No problem. And and this is your boy Norik. That's cool. And we are gonna be talking just about the year. We're gonna be talking about Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Spider-Man.
So many phrases and things that have now come into our life, such as variants and the multiverse and
they're starting to come through.
All kinds of just pop culture things.
Yeah.
We have Funko Pops over here, courtesy
Dundee.
of my man Sincere, who brought us these gifts.
Yeah, if you guys watch The Office, those are Dundies. I had to give my boys the Dundies for the best co-stars ever. So shout out to y'all.
Shout out to
But
Mike.
also, this is the Flickies episode. So
man.
And why not celebrate with some awards?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And also, the comics that you see on this table are brought to you by 3-Bit Games.
3-Bit Games.
So shout out to 3-Bit. We got some mystery boxes, and these were the comics that came in the mystery boxes. So we got some really, really good stuff here. So for all your comic book needs, hit up 3-Bit Games.
Video
Trading
games.
cards.
Yeah.
Overall, trying to lose
And
to
Smash.
Lose the Speaks at Smash and
Three
Tekken
stock,
and
Don't get 3 stock, guys.
I got 3 stocked at the Common Ground in 2019.
Sheesh.
That's why you haven't played since, huh?
I played since. I just don't talk about it.
3 stock will do that to you.
Yeah, it happens, man.
It does.
Shout out Nicholas Gray.
For sure. And we are also going to talk about a super cool thing that we did as a group.
Yeah.
Wow.
We'll probably start off just with that.
Yeah,
to be honest.
We had a pretty impactful weekend with Spider-Man coming out, and the 3 of us got together, and we decided it would be super dope,
Which it was,
for us to rent out a movie theater to watch Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Yeah.
And for
I've
all
never
of you
done
that
that.
are listening, it's a first. It's a first for all of
for
us.
everything.
Yeah.
For some of you that are listening, some of you guys were there. Some of you who are listening who weren't there, I wish you were there.
You wish you were
You
there.
wish you were
because
there.
it was super dope.
You had to watch it with the public.
Yeah. We watched it in private with the homies.
Yeah.
I
the
looked to my
fans,
left and
so
to
it
my
was great.
right and said, I know all these people.
Yeah, it's great.
Can you say that?
That's what happens
Maybe.
when you
If you
when you
go-
bond with your fans and with your friends and with your community.
We had cupcakes. We had good
Loved
vibes.
ones.
Yes,
Yeah.
we celebrated
We had
A
popcorn.
Sincere's birthday. Happy
It was my
birthday,
birthday, guys.
Sincere.
I'm
A lot of popcorn.
25.
I took some popcorn actually to go.
Did you?
Yeah, and I ate
I
the whole
saw
bag.
a lot of people. Take popcorn to go.
Yeah.
I was happy.
As you
It's
should.
good. Honestly, I like the Harkins popcorn.
Movie popcorn.
Yeah, the boom.
Can you tell the difference between AMC and Harkins?
I can.
Really?
I can. Yeah.
Harkins
And I
actually
like-
does have a pretty distinct salt taste to it.
I like the Harkins popcorn over the AMC.
I wonder if there's like a proprietary blend. that each movie theater kind of goes for.
I wouldn't doubt it, but also
salt blend, maybe?
I'm sure there's a science behind it. Like I wouldn't doubt if like
the machines
at a certain temperature. Do you pre-season the machine?
Mm-hmm.
Do you throw stuff over the popcorn? Do you just kind of like leave it in its natural state? But also they have like the different cheeses. Like they have cheese bars now at theaters.
Yeah.
They have the little cheese bars to try the different cheeses and seasonings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean they have Harkins. They have like you can buy little cheese dust, and I never do that, but. Yeah.
No, that's too much for me. Like I like my popcorn. Like
I like the classic popcorn.
I'm a classic kind of guy.
The cheat code I learned at Harkins is that if you get the large popcorn, you get a free refill. So what you do is you buy it and then just put it all in a box and then just ask them for the refill right up front. You never have to go back.
Yeah, they just look at you just gaming the system.
No, you just send somebody else and they don't even know.
No, they mark the bottom of the bag. They're smart.
Yeah, but you send somebody else with the bag.
No, you could ask them right in front of them and be like, "Hey, refill this," and they'll be like, "Oh, okay."
Do it.
That's pretty fast. But yeah, the experience was fun. There were some good reactions. Most of the people that had saw it with us had seen it already, including ourselves, because we could not wait.
So I think what was really dope, which I don't think we really counted on, was this movie sold out in seconds.
Yeah.
They crashed the servers of every AMC, every Harkins, every
I think
theater.
we were able to secure the theater before tickets even went on sale, right?
Were, yes. So we secured the theater.
For sure.
So we secured the theater beforehand, right? But so we had very like minimal sales at first because it was kind of like maybe a month ahead, right? And then tickets went on sale and nobody was able to grab it. And then we posted that we had tickets and people were like, run it.
Yeah.
So shout out to y'all for coming with us. And,
it's not the last time we're going to do it. I do want to do it more often or similar events, of showing movies, whether even if it's like a backyard type of showing or something. But a movie theater showing was really cool because it's, the screen is there, the sound is there,
right.
Somebody else is pressing play, the snacks are provided. It was just a really cool experience.
Yeah, I loved experiencing it with friends, but also we had already seen it before a private showing, so we kind of already knew what to expect. But I love reactions, so looking around, seeing when
I kept looking at my girlfriend.
I mean, spoilers. I mean, the spoiler episode.
Scene.
Seeing when.
Well, you don't have to jump straight into.
Okay.
Into it,
well,
seeing reactions,
certain scenes and reactions.
Yeah.
All around me. Like I was sitting next to the homie King Dice, and then my brother and his friends. And then just seeing them like all hype, especially Dice, because we've had Dice on the pod multiple times, and you already know what a critic he is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, nerds unite! I'm proud of us.
Dice.
No, it was great. It was great. Cool. I mean, there was a lot of hype for this movie. It's been, the actors have been trying to keep the secrets, keep the things under wraps. I remember when they didn't even have a title for the movie as yet, and we were all wondering what the title was going to be like. And it was this whole campaign about, they were faking us out with the title and what might it be? And then they came out with this video that revealed the title, and it was kind of set up to be this gigantic movie from the get-go, from the jump. And I can't wait to dive into whether it lived up to that hype or not with you guys. And this whole episode, as far as movie talk is concerned, is going to be dedicated to Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Yeah, guys, buckle up because this is going to be a lengthy episode. I think we kind of already know. I don't think we're really going to like focus on time or anything. We're just going to kind of talk, and then when we stop, we stop.
Cool. Yeah,
let's run it.
Yeah, we will. So
spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert for sure if you haven't seen it.
Leave right now. Well, don't leave. We'll pause it and then come back. And
check the timestamp for when you want to jump into the Flickies, and you can do that. You could start from there.
We'll do that. We'll do that for you on YouTube. And let's get into it. This movie was pretty long.
2 hours 29 minutes.
2 hours 29 minutes. Actually, the original slated time was 2 hours and 49 minutes.
They took 20 minutes away from me.
Yeah. But I think I think we were talking about it a little bit before we started recording, and there was just some things that couldn't be shown because it would have ruined certain reveals and certain fight scenes were probably taken out just because. It's like, okay, this is cool, but it's not really
it felt
necessary,
like
probably.
not necessarily like. Well, I feel like all the fight scenes that were filmed were in the movie. It didn't seem like that there was anything that shouldn't have been in there. But I feel like they didn't pull any punches. But I think that there was some like momentum building that they cut out. I think that there was a lot of the movie in the beginning. As far as Peter's identity being revealed.
Yeah.
That him having interactions with the public and just kind of like the time jump of like him getting his letter, like those kinds of things. I feel like some of that was probably filmed. There was not video, but Tom Holland's little brother filmed some scenes that weren't in the movie. And there was
he's supposed to be a robber.
Right. There was somebody else. I just read that there was like another. The little girl who played Morgan Stark.
Okay.
Actually filmed some scenes for Spider-Man and they cut her scenes as well. So I thought that was really interesting. I think that there was so much that was probably filmed for this movie. I think that there was more filmed with the two other variant Spider-Man. I think that there was more filmed with the villains and their interaction with each other, not just with Peter.
Yeah.
And they just had to cut it to kind of make this story work, and it worked.
It worked.
So
honestly, John Watts, he did all three, right? All three Spider-Man movies.
I believe so.
He did.
I believe he did all.
He
three.
did the whole Homecoming trilogy.
Yep.
The Home trilogy. Yeah. No, he's amazing. I mean, to do something like you're trying to do it for the first time after it's been done twice already, and those other ones, aren't. They're good. There's plot holes. There's obviously from a different era. So especially the first one, Tobey Maguire, special effects aren't what they are now. And then with the Amazing Spider-Man, you ruined pretty much by the studio, just trying to be rushed. And then this is just, it's almost perfect, I think. From Homecoming to No Way Home, and then Far From Home, and then No Way Home. Like that's a feat to accomplish, especially when the studio's like, here, can you do this movie that's been done twice? Oh, and we don't want it to be done like those other movies.
Yeah. Can we get a round of applause for John Watts, man?
That is insane. Like this guy. Yeah, we need to add that one for sure. No, but this man, and he's kind of jumping ahead. He's going to do it again with Fantastic Four. You know, they gave him another one where like, yeah, it's been done twice before, but we want you to do it again differently.
I'm definitely confident.
Yeah, I'm confident because he was able to do it.
Confident in his ability. I'm like, you got it.
When we got that announcement trailer of all the Marvel films that are coming within the next 3 years, and we got the reveal of the Fantastic Four, and then they announced who was doing it, it's like, okay, this is it. This is the one.
Yeah, I mean, he's done it with this, like with Spider-Man, and I feel like they're just gonna end up putting him in all the New York, superhero. I hope he does X-Men. To be honest,
I would probably be a little burnt out if he did X-Men.
Might as well go for the 3-peat.
Well, the thing is, the only reason why I say that, the 9-peat, the only reason why I say that is because I think X-Men needs to tonally be different.
Right.
Okay,
so
I can see that.
But Fantastic Four, I feel like could be the tone.
I feel like it fits
Far From Home and No Way Home, and it would
Fantastic
work.
Four definitely has that Homecoming feel.
Mm-hmm.
Trilogy feel.
Yeah,
right.
I think
from
that
the
it'll be
comedic
that.
timing to how serious it can be to like, okay, we here now.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think it can get dark. Because even Far From Home, there were moments where it got a little dark with Mysterio and things like that. And I feel like seeing Doom, like seeing him push the envelope, like what he did with Goblin and with Mysterio,
right,
makes me feel like, okay, Doom is going to be even more than that, but I know where the restraint is going to be from it, which I'm cool with. That's going to have to be balanced with how he makes the Fantastic Four.
I think what makes me excited is that
if he does Doom,
we've been able to see a good sense of humanity in every villain.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
like we kind of see them be themselves, not just a villain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
With like this is their agenda, that's it. So
Not only that, like
apply the Doom.
Yeah.
a lot of the I mean,
Because
a
the
lot of
Vulture
these-
arguably is one of the best MCU villains of all time.
Yes.
Like the Spider-Man trilogy has the trilogy of villains that are the best that we've seen
Yeah.
Right.
in any MCU film with
From the casting to their, I guess their goal.
Yeah, because if you take any now, a lot of people are going to say, "Oh, well, they're all like, something has to do with Tony Stark, right?"
Right.
Which isn't true, because of No Way Home. That has to do with Spider-Man.
Right.
However, if you take Iron Man's trilogy, Captain America's trilogy, Thor's trilogy, and you compare the villains that they had in all
Top
of
tier.
them,
Top tier.
Spider-Man's villains were way better acted, way
Well
better applied,
executed,
way yes,
Yeah.
a lot better.
honestly, the
executed.
Iron Man villains are boring. Like, I feel like
Because we have
for the ones
Ironmonger.
we got, like a lot
we
of
had
the ones that we got,
Ironmonger who
there's
I mean,
no powers,
I thought
Other
Ironmonger was
than-
great. Like I can't think of his name right now.
He was in.
He's in the Big
In
Lebowski.
Part 2,
but,
Mickey Rourke.
No. That's
first
the
guy.
second one.
Yeah.
We're
Who
talking
was the
about,
guy that was in Tron?
Yeah, he was in Tron.
Oh, you're talking about
Jeff
his head of
Bridges?
security,
Jeff Bridges. Thank
yeah.
you.
Quick.
Jeff
Shout out
Bridges.
Jam Cam. You guys don't know Jam Cam's in the background being our fact checker today.
I mean, you don't
Here I
have to
am.
release the sauce.
He didn't even look that one up.
He did it.
I did. I googled it.
Oh, okay, I didn't see it, but
Oh,
I got.
Thanks,
I got.
JK.
I thought that was the chair.
I'm super.
that's the
quick with
guy
Google.
behind the chair right there.
Oh no! Shout out to Ned.
I know. Right?
You're our Ned. That's
I
fire.
like that. Actually, that's dope. That's dope.
It fits.
Shout out to Ned.
The guy in the
Are
chair.
y'all both from
Representation.
Hawaii too?
Yeah.
Ned is from Hawaii.
Yeah, there you
Hey.
go.
Shout out to
Works
Jacob
out.
Batalon. I'm the only one that knows how to pronounce your name.
Hey,
Oh
bro.
my
See,
God, there you go.
we gotta get Jacob on the podcast now.
Jacob Italian.
Oh,
What?
no.
Hello?
Batalon.
Batalon.
It's not battalion. Sorry, go ahead as you were.
Jacob
Nah, you're
Italian.
good. You're
But
good.
yeah, back to like villains. Yeah, Spider-Man
Jeff
villains.
Bridges. Jeff Bridges is a stellar actor.
Mhm.
So like him, like he has one of
He's
the most
cool.
quotable lines of he was like, Tony Stark did this in a cave with
With a
some
box
scraps.
with a box of scraps.
Yeah, it was great. Mickey Rourke. I mean, I appreciate Mickey Rourke. I just don't think that Whiplash was the best
Yeah,
villain to
Yeah,
select.
overall.
And then
yeah,
with the Mandarin, even though Ben Kingsley was fantastic,
it's comedy.
Guy was I think it was Guy Pearce.
Yeah.
who
Yeah,
was
Guy
who
Pearce.
was Adrian Killian. I mean, I think if you take away wanting the actual Mandarin,
Right.
and now that we actually
Got
have the Mandarin,
Right.
Not even called the
It-
actual Mandarin.
you
They
know,
didn't have
it
the
like-
Mandarin. They didn't
it-
know how
it-
to chicken.
I know it kind of just lowers the villains.
Right.
And then if you go to Captain America and you got
Red Skull. That's
Red
bad.
Skull
Skull.
by Hugo Weaving, which was
cool.
phenomenal. I
Right.
thought he was a great casting. I wish he would have came back and been more involved.
Right.
Bucky
Winter
and
Soldier.
Zemo.
Who's now has his own show and a hero.
Yeah, he's a hero now. So.
Yeah, but I mean, come on now, Winter Soldier, like
Yeah, that
like-
was a good movie. I love that movie.
fire, And then you have and then
best
you have
fighting
Zemo,
sequences.
you know, where arguably, even though it's by a great actor, it was just it's cool.
That's cool.
It's cool.
It's so
He
weird
was
that
cool
that
at
he's
that.
the villain,
Yeah,
but yet he wasn't the one doing like the villaining. If that makes sense, because it's
Yeah,
more
that-
like
well,
all of Civil War was just like him.
The
poking
villain
the
was in the
stick.
title of the
Well,
movie.
it was the
Civil
first
War.
time that they were trying to. Yeah, that's true. It was the first time. Well, not the first time. I don't want to say that, but it was a real emphasis on what you were talking about as far as the humanity part
Right.
of the villain.
Right.
They really wanted to humanize the villain. They wanted us to sympathize with the
Yeah.
villain, and that was his role.
Right.
Yeah,
and they
even
picked
with
Zemo
Killmonger.
to do that. Killmonger was the second version of them doing that.
Right.
And
which was executed even better because that blueprint was already laid out.
Exactly. I think that Thor with Hela, even though Kate Blanchett is awesome,
Don't get me wrong.
it's okay.
Like all the villains that you're mentioning, they're cool. But then
But-
just something about Spider-Man villains.
Bruh, Adrian Toomes took out a just straight gun and said, like, bro, I'll kill you right now. Like, I'll
Yeah.
shoot you in my car right now.
Yeah.
Like, it's a different type of villainy of like, I've never felt emotion
It's
from
New York.
from a villain like that in the MCU. like where the villain
it's
said
they're all
something.
from New York, bro. They're all menaces.
He was just like, killing a child is not beneath me.
Adrian Toomes had his Timbs on.
Oh no.
He has black Air Forces while he was in the car.
He was
That's what it
taking
felt
he was
like.
taking flight, all right.
Nah, it was yeah. So just back to the point of the villains of this, and we can start here as far as we just dive into the villains. The
Let's
villains
go
of this
bottom
of this
to
movie.
top for sure.
So-
Starting with the lizard.
Okay.
So
Yeah, the bottom.
Me-
I-
so
okay, yeah. I
me and
guess
Dice-
me putting him at the
Yeah,
bottom.
so jumping to
would
what
you put him at the
Skywalker was
bottom?
saying, if you kind of notice, assuming all of us have the same ranking for these villains,
That's what I assumed.
it goes by the amount of screen time that they all had.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's
Right.
what I mean.
So
by
going
screen
from
time.
top to bottom, and then chime in if I'm incorrect. But number one,
Go for
Goblin. Okay.
I'll
Two,
go from bottom to top.
bottom top, Lizard,
Yeah.
Sandman,
Yes.
Electro,
Yes.
Doc Ock,
Yes.
Goblin.
Correct.
I don't know if I would like rate them, but
I guess just
like
off
what
screen
what
time.
are you rating them on?
Overall-
Is it like based off of
overall-
like acting ability or something?
No. Well, so yeah, you
It's-
want to take
it's
everything
the
into account
use-
from.
I mean,
from
I
the-
see.
You have to take into account like the story, like that's a testament to the story that was built before them. It wasn't
Yeah,
like
no,
that
no,
all
no.
these villains were
I
introduced.
wouldn't say.
in
I
this
wouldn't say
movie.
like that one. Like the rating is better than the other. My rating is just based off of how the movie viewed them. You know, like which one is going to be most important to Tom
the sto-
Holland's
to the
Spider-Man.
I think
storyline.
all of them were important.
Mm.
I think all of the. I think,
Why was the Lizard important?
I think the lizard was important because it showed just what kind of villainy or what kind of villains that he faces.
Yeah.
You know, like it
For
opened
sure.
up his mind. He was like, I didn't even know that you could talk. Like nobody's had a talking lizard
Right.
in the MCU or anything like that. Like
So me looking at it from the outside in would be more so the agenda, right? Seeing that one, like the lizard's agenda is just to turn everybody into a fucking lizard, bro. That's it,
Yeah.
right? Sandman came in as a friend.
He didn't even want to.
He came in as a friend, and
was
then his
super
whole thing was
neutral.
like, all I want to do is get back home to my daughter. Then when they start fighting, he's like all about what like he's with the villains now. Like
Yeah,
to me that
Mostly
kinda,
because he just wanted to get it over with, and it's like just press the down button, you know, type thing. That's
Yeah.
what I saw his agenda as. And then Electro did want to get some power. He wanted to get stronger, and he took what he needed to get the power. And
Electro was Electro and Goblin were the actual like villains.
Mhm.
You know, even Doc Ock
It's 'cause-
without accounting for Doc Ock's
right,
I would feel
change
like Doc
or
Ock.
growth in the movie.
right.
I feel like Doc Ock and
He
Electro
wasn't even
are
really trying to
interchangeable.
be he wasn't even really trying to be a villain either. You know, like he was just like
I
he
guess
was
just
controlled.
when
You
they
know, but Electro wasn't controlled by anything. He just wanted to be a villain, and Goblin also wanted to be a villain.
sort of, I feel like with Goblin, it was kind of like a dual personality thing.
He's had
So then
schizophrenia.
so
It's
then
more
if we
like
go there
personal.
too, then I would say Electro is like the actual villain that's not being controlled by anything and
Yeah.
just like wants to absorb all the power and kill Spider-Man.
Yeah,
He's
I
a
mean, I
nobody
feel
that wants to
like
be a somebody.
he could have got way more OP than he was in the movie.
He was pretty OP though.
He was.
He was pretty OP.
I mean, yeah, he was. Watching the movie, just like seeing
the
him
most
fight.
OP thing about Electro in this movie was his one-liners.
He had a bunch.
You ain't the shit no more.
You ain't the shit no more. You ain't even the shit no more.
I feel like Jamie Foxx just like freestyled like a lot of
Yeah.
those
So
lines.
the-
I just
Hell
can't
yeah.
picture like John Watts and like all the writers like, oh yeah,
No.
you ain't the shit no mo. Like just writing that for Jamie Foxx to say. I feel like he just
John
went
Watts.
off. He just went off on that, and they were like, all right, cool, Jamie.
All right,
Like,
so
it's
right
fine.
here he's gonna say, "Y'all ain't gonna act like I am butt ass naked." You know what? Yeah,
For real.
So the
Sandman said, "I am."
so just also just to add it in there, there was
hilarious.
stories of Jamie Foxx on set where John Watts and all the producers were very very strict with other cast members. And then like Zendaya and Jacob said that they like were off set for a few days and then they came back because they felt like they were like overstepping boundaries. But then you get Jamie Foxx like just throwing a dance party in the middle of a shoot day. just making all the producers like dance and like having
He's
competitions.
Jamie Foxx.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
You can't stop it. You can't
And
stop it.
he's been a director. He's been on like behind the scenes, on like in front of the camera. You know, I think he can talk to people.
Yeah, but
easier
all that to
and
say
has better
that
connections,
he has the
obviously.
liberty to do anything he wants.
Yeah,
and he does it great.
they trust him. I mean, you need that energy on set too. It's
Yeah.
not always got to be like quiet on set. You know, like you need the energy. I don't think the movie would be as, you know, crazy and fun as it was if you know
If Jamie
it was as
Foxx
strict.
wasn't. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. And
yeah.
I think
just
that
Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx was in a unique position to be the villain that was confirmed
Mhm.
early on. Even before
Correct.
Doc Ock was confirmed, Jamie Foxx was confirmed as
Yeah.
Electro was coming
Right.
back. So it was kind of like
And when it was confirmed that he wasn't gonna look how he did before.
yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
mean that too. And,
That's what really
and,
hooked people, I think.
And I think that he had the liberty to kind of move and say like, I'm the main villain of this movie,
Right.
because they didn't want to really reveal that
Mm.
Goblin was a part of it, or that or
That's true.
Defoe or
They did.
or
They
Molina
did,
was a part of
right.
it until like maybe
they
a
confirmed
month
Goblin
or two
super
before.
late.
Yeah,
I think Molina was before because
he was in the teaser.
Willem Dafoe, yeah.
yeah.
Right.
So when the teaser was coming out, it was like, all right, you know, Alfred Molina's in it, back as Doc Ock. We
Right.
got Electro, and
Mhm.
then it just started going into all these stories of like, oh well, maybe this person will be back, and then Willem
One
Dafoe.
thing I'm not sure if you guys noticed, which I kind of finally noticed after the movie, is like, remember how when the Lizard and Sandman were finally like confirmed, but it was just more so their like CGI characters more so than the actors.
Yeah.
Mhm.
My assumption is, and then if you guys don't agree, let me know. But they spent a pretty hefty bag on
Yes.
on the
Agreed.
three main villains of Doc Ock, Goblin, and Electro,
Yep.
Yeah.
where they just signed on the Lizard and Sandman for just voice acting,
Yeah.
I think.
right?
yeah,
I
and,
think
and then if you notice,
They got a voice acting.
the
back.
lizard scenes and the Sandman scenes were reused from their original movies.
I don't know if the lizards were. It might have been.
I'll
but-
send you a comparison video.
I feel like the Lizard,
But
yes,
I know that
but
the
not
Sandman-
Sandman.
No,
No,
Sandman
other way
definitely
around
was.
for me. Because Sandman was already old when he played Sandman,
Right.
and I don't think that he, you know, no disrespect to
Thomas Hayden Church.
Thomas Hayden Church.
I actually
but
like the way
I don't
they
think
did
that
him.
he's. Yeah, I liked it too. I
was
thought
like,
it was
okay,
genius for
Sandman
them to
is
just like.
sand all the time.
Yeah, they were just like, you know, we could just CGI these guys,
Yeah.
and not have to worry about it. But
Yeah.
with Jamie Foxx, we're gonna have to pay him,
Right.
you know, for his likeness and his appearance.
Willem
Alfred
Dafoe
Molina, we're
was
gonna have to pay
borderline
him.
at that point where, you know.
Well, Willem Dafoe wasn't gonna do it if he wasn't
I know.
going to like.
yeah, for sure.
be
And
in-
that's why it's like he's a difference though. You know, like Sandman and Lizard, obviously they're old and they're like, yeah, I'm not really willing to push my body to that length. But Willem Dafoe is the type of actor to really get into character. You
Well,
know?
spine buster,
He even said.
Spider-Man
He even
through the-
said in
through
the
the
last interview before the movie
few
dropped
floors.
that all he asked of John Watts and the main producer, I
Is to
think her
do
name
the
is Nancy,
stunts.
was to do his own stunts.
Yeah, because
He was powerbombing people through concrete.
bruh, that connection of moves of him launching him up to the ceiling, then when he picked him up and did the spine buster through the ceiling, that was incredible.
It was
I
crazy
couldn't believe it.
when Spider-Man left the building and then the Lizard got him back and he threw him back in. He's
Yeah.
like,
There's
what did he
always gonna
say?
be
There's always going to be
consequences.
consequences.
Yeah,
when
he was
you
just
try
trying
make
to teach him a
changes.
lesson.
That part I was like, whoa.
And
they're
that's why
actually
the
teaming
lizard's
him up.
important, because the lizard said very key things
Yeah,
that-
he did.
that made Peter understand, like, okay, I can't, like, all of the things that I do have consequences.
It was the same things that Doctor Strange was telling him.
And
too,
that's
as
the
well.
lizard's MO too, is that like he messed up on himself, and he's like,
Right.
you know, I did this and that, and there's consequences. So he fully believes that.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, because he didn't want to turn into a lizard. He just wanted to get a new arm,
Yeah.
and then he turned into a lizard.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, and then he's like, well, now everybody's gonna be a lizard.
Well, everybody gonna be lizards
Mhm.
now.
yeah, because I hate myself. So I want everybody to be a lizard, so we can all hate ourselves.
Yeah,
Which-
Man.
I understand.
it was,
you know.
it was okay.
I get it.
it. At the time, it was cool. Looking back now, it's like, oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
all right. Maybe do better.
But okay, so kind of jumping away from the villains, supporting casts. So Marissa Tomei, Aunt May,
Mm-hmm.
Happy Hogan,
Mhm.
you know, then John Favreau.
John Favreau,
Then we get Zendaya
Zendaya,
Mm-hmm.
as MJ, and then we have
John. I mean
Jacob.
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 Batalon. Batleon.
Where's Jordan?
Batleon. Is it French?
It's Filipino.
Is it French?
It
pretty sure
sounds a
it's-
little French though, like battalion.
There's no ION. I think it's BATALON.
O-N?
I got to Google. Hold on. Shake
What
up.
is,
Yeah,
ION,
BAT
I guess ION, yeah.
BATALON. There's no I.
Okay, that makes sense.
And I'm
Yeah.
sure he has Americanized it, so it's like
Babylon.
Batalon. But
Mhm.
I'm pretty
Nah,
sure it's
don't Americanize.
Batalon. Like
Batalon.
Batalon. But yeah, as
Batalon.
Ned,
JB.
Okay, that sounds
I'm sure he goes by JB.
so all the supporting cast,
like DJ.
everybody played such a really good
Stupid-ass
part.
Jane.
I'm dead.
That's DJ.
DJ. But yeah, and then Jacob, and then Tom.
Jacob,
Tom
I
Holland.
think I don't know, man. He kind of outdid Zendaya in this movie because
He did.
Yeah, he's been
He did.
outdoing her since
he
the
did,
first
right?
one.
He showed up.
Since the first one.
Nah, Ned showed up. Ned showed up for this one.
in
Far From Home, he
didn't
was
show
absent.
up like that.
He didn't show up at all.
Zendaya showed up in Far From Home.
Yeah,
Nah,
but
I
Ned
don't
showed
think
up.
so.
Ned
He
showed up here, bro.
Yes, he did.
I
He did
I don't
that.
agree. I feel like Zendaya finally broke out in this one because she can finally be his MJ. You know, in the
It's
other
not
two
that
movies,
it's not
she
that
kinda
Zendaya
couldn't.
broke out. It's that MJ broke out.
Yeah, that's what I'm
right?
saying though. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's more so Zendaya can do that because like Zendaya can get there no problem.
Yeah. I feel like
I mean,
Zendaya's always just
personally,
been a support.
To be honest, I never was like for Zendaya to be MJ. Not for the reasons that that racist people feel is
Oh,
is
no.
valid,
yeah.
but I think that just
Obviously.
It's supposed to be Mary Jane. Who's
No,
Michelle
no,
Jones?
It's not even that either. It's just the personality of MJ.
right.
I just didn't like their take on the personality of MJ. It just didn't seem like it really fit.
I feel you.
Personally, and I was just kind of like whatever about it.
They
I
did change her
love Zendaya,
character.
but
They changed MJ throughout like 3 movies. Like she seemed super emo and depressed in the first one.
That's just
and
being a
then-
kid, bro. That's just being a kid.
I don't know. I wasn't that.
I mean,
surprised.
and I understand that, but I've always known MJ just for being like this kind of like confident,
The girl next door.
Exactly.
the girl next door, like confident girl next door, and just kind of doing her thing. And
That was Liz.
that was Liz.
That was
I
Liz,
think
and-
Kirsten Dunst played a great MJ.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
Liz was
I even
cool.
think Emma Stone could have played a good MJ if she was,
I like
not
her as
Gwen Stacy.
I like her as Gwen.
I like her as Gwen too, but I don't know. I just didn't. I was not particular. Like, I don't go to MJ for like, oh man, Zendaya like acted like crazy with
Right.
with
Yeah,
MJ.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like Ned
I
was
feel ya.
always
Ned.
he was
Yeah,
the guy.
yeah. Ned was the guy. I
yeah.
liked him.
So Ned being the guy in the chair, his comedic timing, but also later in the movie, he brought us the 2 things that we wanted, or 2 people we wanted. But we'll get more into that later.
Yeah.
This guy's a national treasure, bro.
Yeah, he did his thing.
Yeah.
I love the just like him. I love the setup of him, being into magic.
Yeah.
And
my
how
Lola
that-
says I'm magic and it's in my hands.
Yeah, I thought that was great.
I feel things in my hands. You should see a
Yeah.
physician.
So
It's
I
diabetes.
don't know about you guys, but I want to get to Doctor Strange.
Yes, that's what I was
in
about
this
to
movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say
With Doctor Strange, there was a lot of alluding to whether this was the real Doctor Strange,
Mephisto.
whether he was Mephisto, whether he was Strange Supreme, and why would he do this,
Right.
and how would he mess up? Like he's a beast when it comes to spells and everything. How could he
Right.
just mess up a spell?
Right.
And all of this stuff. There were all kinds of theories that were going around. Now that we've seen what actually unfolded while watching the movie,
Yeah.
how do you guys feel about Doctor Strange's involvement?
So
in
if I
what
may,
happened?
Good amount, I think.
that's a bar. If I may,
If I may.
if Aunt May, rest in peace. Doctor Strange, bro. I think the fact that because me and Skywalker we're sitting next to each other watching the
Yeah.
movie, and then when Wong came out, it was like
The
Sorcerer
Sorcerer
Supreme,
Supreme, because he was
we looked at
blessed.
each other like, oh wow.
I got it right away. I was like,
Yeah, makes sense.
So there's that weird
Dude was
sense
fighting
of
in an
Strange not
octagon,
caring.
though.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like because he's like he's not the best.
He doesn't
anymore.
have the higher duties.
Yeah.
anymore.
So he's kind of just like not reckless, but he's just like, I don't have to be on top of my shit.
Mm-hmm.
or all the realms. Really, you like the Sorcerer Supreme.
He just
Yeah.
needs to protect the New York realm.
Yep,
pretty
that's
much.
his
Yeah.
realm.
That's
Because
it.
that was Wong's
Mhm.
and-
Sanctum.
Yeah, that was Wong's sanctum. pretty
Wong's
much.
was in was
Hong
in
Kong.
Hong Kong.
Asia, in
Yeah, Hong Kong. Well, I don't think Wong does that anymore. Or maybe that's probably why he was.
He has higher duties.
That's why he was fighting in
He's-
the octagon.
Well, I think that he has to
'Cause of
replace.
Macau
I think he
and
has
all
to
that.
replace like who's going to be the warden of these
Mhm.
sanctums.
Well, it is
And
temporary. Like,
we don't even know if the London sanctum got remade as
Yeah.
yet. You
Right.
know, we don't. I feel like we're gonna figure all that stuff out
In multiverse.
In multiverse, but
oh man, what has been going on the whole? Like, there's gonna be things that have been going on during Endgame, during all of what's going on now, and then we're all gonna see all that unfold in multiverse. Because no way, like the villain from Doctor Strange just put a pause on things during
Right.
Endgame. Like shit was going on.
yeah,
in the
Wong
5 years that
Wong
things were
had to
blipped.
do a lot.
So we're gonna see a lot.
Wong was
had-
working his ass off for
Wong
5
had
years.
to do a lot for 5
I
years.
would love a Disney Plus series on Wong.
I would be okay with that.
Yeah.
The shit he had to deal with for 5 years while the blip
Yeah.
happened.
It'd be
I
great.
think he might show up in She-Hulk because of
Banner.
Banner and because of
I know what you're talking about. Abomination.
Abomination. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because they're gonna have to show the connection. It just seemed pretty random, but
Yeah.
we'll see.
Speaking
then.
of random, who were those two random people just shoveling snow?
They're
inside the
interns,
sanctum?
man.
interns,
Everybody has interns. These guys want to learn magic. You
Who
know?
said to stop shoveling snow?
Yeah, you too. Who said to stop shoveling? But also just goes to show again, Marvel tried to dupe us.
Mhm.
A little
Because
bit.
in the trailer,
Just a little
you get
bit.
Wong saying, "Don't do that spell." He never said it in the movie.
No,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just a little bit though, so not too much. That was the only dupe I think out of all the trailers that we've seen. Just that little.
But it's so huge though because it completely steers your perception. There are a lot of people that were hating on Doctor Strange for
Not listening.
Yeah,
to
for not
Wong.
listening and
Yeah.
for saying that, and who were just
But
like,
also,
"Oh,
I'm
you're gonna
surprised we
mess it
didn't
up."
catch the fact that he wouldn't be Sorcerer Supreme. But then again, they had that buddy.
There's just so much
Yeah.
going on,
Yeah.
like especially when
I thought it was a great bit to add, you
Yeah.
know, because it's one of those things where
it confirms it.
Maybe in another movie.
'Cause a lot of-
I don't
'cause-
think we would have really questioned
Yeah,
whether he was Sorcerer
because a lot of
Supreme or not.
people
Yeah.
probably had theories like, oh, Strange is in the Sorcerer Supreme, but like those until they're confirmed, they're just theories.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
it
everyone
was good to
assumed that
confirm
he was going to be Sorcerer Supreme when the Ancient One died, but there wasn't anything. And even in Endgame, when the Ancient One said that Strange is the best of us, people thought automatically, all right, he's the Sorcerer
Right.
Supreme.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that there's a ritual that has to go, that has to go down in order
like
for
the
that
Black
to happen.
Panther type ritual. Or
Yeah,
something
for
like
sure.
that.
Keep in mind, the Ancient One said Strange is supposed to be the best of us. She said it's the Banner.
Mhm.
But keep in mind that she could only see up until a certain point, which is up
Mhm.
when she died.
Mhm.
So anything that's happening now,
Could be different.
exactly.
Kind of like with He Who Remains, he's like, I've only seen up to this moment,
Right.
and anything else after this is on you.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Stupid Sylvie.
So we go into.
Hey, she's the one who created the multiverse.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm still a little
so let's
fuzzy
touch on that
all of
real
that
quick.
too.
So originally, before this movie happened, we had the three cases of number one, did Wanda cause the multiverse,
Mhm.
right?
Mm-mm.
Because
I
of
think she peeked into it.
Westview, yeah, because
Uh-huh.
of Westview and
Go
trying to
ahead.
get her sons.
Yeah.
Number two being Spider-Man.
Loki.
Oh well, Loki and Sylvie, right? With the one who remains.
He Who Remains.
He who remains. Sorry.
Gotcha.
Killing him and the
And
TVA,
the branches and
the
the TVA,
branches
yeah,
and everything
yeah.
kind of intertwining, or
it
Spider-Man, Doctor
Spider-Man?
Strange. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just because we talk about, they mentioned the multiverse, right? So obviously the multiverse.
I definitely think it's the low-key one.
Yeah.
Obviously, He Who Remains was keeping all the timelines intact the way they were supposed to be, and once
Right.
he died, you see it splinter off, and then it keeps splintering off, and all of that. So, and then you saw it again from Spider-Man No Way Home.
Right.
You see it splintering off, but a little differently. You see it from like the outside, and from the Loki vantage point, you're seeing it from the inside, like, or outside of town. I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain. Really,
It's a little, I'm kind of upset a little bit at how they've handled this.
Okay.
And I knew that it was too it was kind of like it was too big of an idea.
Time is
Like,
when you're trying to add time to things and then realms and then universes. It's kind of like
yeah.
what is what.
So I felt that it was just too big of an idea because once you open it, you have to always address it.
Yeah.
And when you don't address it, then it gets fuzzy,
Okay.
because then people are like, well, what's going on? So for
How
example,
does this work?
Right.
yeah, for example, you have Wanda and her sons and everything like that. Now you can just kind of chalk that up to her hex that she made. She just created her own reality within a world. It's not a timeline.
It's not.
It's just her own reality, right?
Right.
But when she gets a hold of the Darkhold,
Mm-hmm.
she's searching the realities for
Her sons.
her sons, which in a different timeline, she actually had sons with Vision.
Right.
So that's who she's going to pluck out if she plucks anything, which would be her self's sons in a different timeline.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But because she's a Nexus being, I think it's safe to assume that she is who she is every single timeline, regardless.
Yeah.
Right? So it's kind of weird because it kind of like blends into one at the same time, but like
It's
I don't know
like-
if there's different versions of her.
It's like her plucking her sons, and then since she's an Nexus being, she's self-aware. Like, oh, okay, they needed to go here, so it's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
I know what you
But I guess we'll see in Multiverse of Madness, right? Of whether that unfolds.
Keep in mind, all this time, there's still Vision alive. We have White Vision still.
Yeah, White Vision.
Where
He's
the hell
somewhere.
is he?
I feel like he's gonna pop up in Armor Wars, but I think that with Loki and just the TVA is such a crazy concept
Mm-hmm.
that
Still don't understand it.
you
too much.
can't make other movies without addressing the TVA. Like I
Yeah.
feel like this whole thing that happened, the TVA should have for sure jumped in and been like, well, why are they in this reality right now?
Right.
Now, you can make the argument that so much shit is going on that the TVA is all over the place.
Yeah.
But we know how organizations run. Like there has to be some sort of communication of these things
DEFCON
happening.
5, right.
Exactly. Like there has to be something that's going on. So even if He Who Remains is dead and
That's also a pretty crazy concept, though, because
know?
the TVA only works within its timeline, right? Right.
I-
It only works within its timeline. So
I
other
don't
TVAs
know.
It works
will-
outside of time, is what they kept saying.
Well, keep in mind they would prevent branches from happening to keep it
within the main timeline, yes.
right.
But
Oh,
the
it's
main,
so within the main timeline.
yeah, it's within
Yeah.
the main timeline. That's
so
how they
within the
operate.
other
Secret timeline.
timelines, are there other variants of the TVA that they're not aware of?
I don't think that there's a thing that's possible as far as variants of the TVA. But I low-key
I
take
think
that back
once-
because
We get
of the
we
finale.
Get Mobius. We
Yeah.
get
we get a different Mobius.
I
than,
think at one point there is just one TVA, and then once it starts splintering off, there creates more. It's kind of that's where the multiversal war. It's
Right.
going to be this King's TVA versus the other King's TVA, and that's the multiversal war. You know,
And
I think that's what it was.
to
And that's
have
how-
multiple TVAs. How do you take care of a timeline if
yeah,
that
that's- but
timeline is
that's
someone
exactly-
else's TVA?
Yeah.
That's when
You
they
know?
start clashing, and they're like, "Hey, you're not even supposed to be here," and it's like, "We're taking over this timeline now." It's like, what the hell? And then
But then having the TVA just fight it out just sounds ridiculous. Like it's like, all right,
Yeah.
I don't want to see a whole bunch of like the TVA just fight each other. That doesn't make any sense.
right.
And I don't know, like I'm sure Loki season 2 is going to address some of this stuff, but it may not. And I think that if it doesn't, that's going to make me even more upset because it's like,
Well, because we're already anxious.
you have to round this out somehow. Somehow you have to make this
I
make sense.
don't think it's so overwhelming to the point where, like, we're not gonna get answers, because I feel like we've been getting answers. It's not as quick as we like, but we're getting it.
Mhm.
Again, not as quick as we like, because we're getting answers of Loki in 3 movies down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Spider-Man and
Yeah.
yeah,
But that's because
no.
it's all canon.
yeah.
So even though it's throwing shit off, like it's branching out, but then when we get that answer,
Yeah.
it kind
No,
of just brings
I
it
mean,
back.
speaking of the branches, I really liked the fact that they threw in all of these silhouettes.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited for the movie to come out on DVD or streaming so that
So you
we
can
can
stop?
just pause it right there and be like, okay, who's this? Because there were a few that I recognized.
Yeah, we got the actual Rhino, which is fire.
Super dope.
Yeah.
Super
But
dope.
aside
They
from
got
that-
the
At least not the
and I
real
saw
Rhino,
Craven.
but a variant of Rhino. I think
Yeah.
all those were just variants.
Well, like the real Rhino is like the main variant.
Like-
I,
no,
no,
I
I know
have
what
in
you
my
mean.
head. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
not
know
Paul
what you mean.
Giamatti, basically.
Yeah.
I fought a Russian guy in a rhinoceros costume. I'm lame.
Yeah, we should
Yeah.
get to that right now. We should get to that part. But Doctor Strange, all in all, I think was
Well, with
was
the
pretty good
multiverse,
and good enough.
I was gonna segue in with the TVA and stuff like that because I feel like both Peters should have gotten what do they call it when they what does the TVA call it when they get removed?
Pruned.
Yeah, both of them should have been pruned.
Yeah.
You know, and like the fact that they weren't because they were in like another Spider-Man's like
Yeah.
timeline.
I just think
it's
that
different for Osborn because there isn't an Osborn in.
Right.
And,
And there's not an Octavius.
And
in
there's
the-
not an Octavius that's there.
or
So-
Dr.
but-
Connors yet, at least, because the timeline I think is very early.
Yeah, because he hasn't
And-
gone to MIT
yeah.
or wherever.
He hasn't
wherever
even
he's
gone to
gonna end up.
college where
Yeah, he
Peter
hasn't
met
gotten into
most
college.
of those
He's
villains.
taking his GED.
Yeah.
So he hasn't even
Yeah.
gotten into college yet.
Yeah.
So that
yeah.
it's gonna be interesting on where they go with that. But yeah, let's talk about the main event. The liars.
So yeah, man. So
No, actually, okay. Before we go on,
yeah.
I saw an interview. It wasn't really an interview, but I guess some random guy on the street saw Toby and asked him, "Are you going to be in the next Spider-Man movie?" He said, "Yeah." That's all he said. He said, "Yeah, I'm gonna be in it." And it's kind of like there's not really a source to that.
Mhm.
I mean, he wasn't lying, but how believable is that? That like
Yeah.
that's it. You just get.
Well,
it.
he's-
I mean, I just feel bad for Andrew Garfield because he was on his own movie run and just
Yeah,
couldn't
Tick, Tick, Boom.
avoid getting
Which also there's that small debate that did it help Tick Tick Boom?
Not. I think not
No.
until it got close to now.
not,
if anything,
I mean, maybe.
I think the hype helped Tick Tick Boom a little bit, not like a lot, not like a crazy amount.
Yeah, I mean,
'Cause
it's
Tick, Tick,
Andrew
Boom was
Garfield.
amazing.
I mean, people still love Andrew Garfield.
Right.
Um,
All of a sudden, right? All of a sudden,
no,
everybody loves Andrew
I
Garfield.
think people have always liked Andrew
but in
Garfield.
2014, it was the worst thing in the world. Sorry, I'm just.
I
I'm just
wouldn't
jaded.
say he's a bad Spider-Man, but the movies were bad.
Oh no, he was a great Spider-Man, but Sony's trash. But we'll talk more about that later.
Yeah, I mean, if you compare, it was because that was all that we had, right?
Hmm.
And because that was all that we had, it wasn't good enough for what we had.
Mm-hmm.
Now that we have a little bit more, we've seen more. Like, he's a good Spider-Man. It's almost like this is gonna be sorry, I'm gonna just preface this is gonna be probably like a misogynistic view of a comparison here, but it's
Uh-oh.
like when you see like a group of girls
Okay.
and like the group makes like all the girls look good, but then like if you see them on their own, it's like, oh, she doesn't really look as good,
I
Yeah.
get
That's
you.
kind of what it was with the Peters,
Spider-Man.
I
with
know
the
that.
Spider-Man.
I know that theory.
You know what I mean?
I know
So
that
it's
theory.
like
It's like when you hang
all
out with
of
the
them-
homies. and
all
they're
of them
like, "Damn,
together-
he's cute," but then you see the homeboy.
It's
by
like when you're the
himself.
best rapper out of a group of people. Like
there you go, all of
There
it.
you go.
So and
Nice.
I'm best rapper.
Okay.
Nice comparison.
So like
I don't
That's
know.
how
I
I
think I'm
fe-
the best rapper.
he might be
Oh,
on the low,
no.
on the low.
his name is
Freestyle
Oscar.
battle right now.
Oh no.
I just feel like that was the case with these three Peters. Like it was just so refreshing
Uh-huh.
to have Andrew be his Peter Parker with these other two that are so different.
I feel like out of
that-
everyone, Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man movie was the most excited. Like Tom Holland was just like, I have so much to fucking deal with. I can't even process this.
I'm working with Mark Wahlberg next week. I
And
got
then-
shit to worry about.
Yeah.
And then Toby's just like, yeah, I'm just here. You need my help for sure. And then
Toby, like,
Andrew
you got a
Garfield
vet?
was
Cool.
real like, you guys realize what's going on, right? Like he pretty much seems super excited.
Well,
throughout
it
the whole
fit. It
thing.
fit.
Yeah.
I mean, his Peter Parker is more excited about science than either one of
Mhm.
the other two.
Okay,
You know?
real quick. So before we dive in, so I'm not sure if you
Oh,
guys
we dove.
noticed. Yeah. Well, we're like before we get too too deep.
Nerdy.
Yeah, exactly. Throughout this movie, John Watts used, I guess. So for example, they have something on set called a Raimi cam,
Mhm.
which was used mostly during during the tingle moments, where Raimi has this way of zooming in on people.
Oh, I know what you mean.
Right. So John Watts kind of created his own Raimi cam, not exactly how Raimi does it,
Mm-hmm.
but like for example on the bridge when he feels Doc Ock's presence,
Mm-hmm.
start zooming on like a Raimi cam.
Mhm.
Another thing I'm not sure if you noticed, But when on the bridge scene and he's going to save the woman on the car from falling off the bridge,
Mm-hmm.
we get a first person point of view,
Mm-hmm.
which is only done in The Amazing Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was so dope and well executed. But also, when that was kind of already done, I was like, okay, I think they're in the movie.
Didn't they do a first person view in Homecoming?
I don't believe so. Not that I recall.
Wasn't there
I thought
one
they did that.
in Far From Home when they were swinging at the end? Or was that just no? They didn't do it first person.
know.
I guess it was a weird kind of.
Yeah.
It kind of felt like a Raimi cam when they were
Right.
swinging.
I thought it was cool though. Like I thought
With
how
Mary Jane
the whole
and
movie
James.
was a homage to all things
Right.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You know, we even had a Spider-Man takedown from the video game.
We
Like,
almost had a Sinister
that
Six.
he did.
were
we
one
did
short.
have a Sinister Six.
Were we not one short?
The
No?
tree.
No, we weren't one
The
short.
tree.
No, it's not the tree. It's
The tree.
it's Venom. Venom was
Is this
the
some
other
kind
person.
of monster that can turn
Yeah.
into a tree?
Venom was
That's
the
just
sixth.
a tree, man.
It was just Venom was drunk in Mexico.
They
meeting
shot
up
that
with,
scene
uh,
at they shot that scene at
True,
Papa's and
yeah.
Beer.
Oh, did they?
They shot the scene at Papa's and
Yeah,
Beer.
he
It's
was
kind
in
of
Mexico
hilarious.
on vacation.
I just love how they had Danny Rojas. I think it's
Uh-huh.
Danny Rojas.
As a bartender.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Football is life.
Hey man.
Yeah, but it wasn't. It was a Sinister Six without it being the Sinister Six for sure.
It was a Sinister Six. It was
No,
just
no,
they were
like-
missing.
Like without them
Venom
being
was getting
like,
drunk.
like without them like, I guess like they had to all teleport there in order for it to be the Sinister Six. It wasn't like they built up over a few movies like, hey, we gotta eventually
Yeah.
beat up Spider-Man.
I
kill
mean,
him.
The one thing that I will say, and we're kind of jumping ahead here, but I wish that the Vulture was in this movie.
Where the hell is he?
I was
Did
really
Sony-
upset that
Did Sony like just be like,
oh,
nope?
he's being Batman right now, man.
Not only
He's
that,
in
but
the
he's with
Flash
Dr.
movie.
Michael Morbius.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what?
But see,
did Sony just be like, all right, you can't have him no more?
So what I'm thinking is, they talked about lending one and lending another, so like,
Well, we'll talk
and
about
the
that too later.
MCU lent Doctor Strange to Sony to put this movie together.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they made
That is
Morbius,
true.
the MCU lent Adrian Toomes,
Right.
which is the Vulture.
Michael Keaton.
But now that I've seen No Way Home, I think that Morbius takes place at the same exact time that No Way Home does. So I
In
think
the Sony universe?
Do you think
or
Toby's
MCU?
gonna show
in
up
the Sony universe.
Okay.
in Morbius?
So I think,
do you think Toby will show up in Morbius?
I don't think he'll show up,
because
but
there is that poster of
but
him.
I think that Vulture and what Mysterio did is going to show
pop
up in Morbius. So
Yeah.
they're going to
That's
get
where it kind of is going to get a little fuzzy.
yeah, they're going to get transferred over there. So basically Vulture's going to wake up out of prison and be like, "Wait, I'm out of
Fuck am I-
prison.
what
Like
am I
what is
doing
going
here?"
on here?" And he's going to start assembling his team trying to get to Spider-Man, but there's not going to be a Spider-Man in there in that universe.
Right.
And I think that at the end of Morbius, he'll get transferred back to because of the spell.
I like that theory.
Interesting.
That's my thoughts.
Hey man, you should do this for a living.
Oh,
I like that.
I could see that.
All right, so jumping back into it, magic hands. We get
Oh,
Ned and pause. We get Ned and Zendaya in Lola's apartment,
Yeah.
and then I wish we could just see Peter. Get the sling ring. You know
Yeah.
what? Let me just hit the wall real quick.
He
just
did
to-
hit the wall
He hit the wall multiple times.
multiple times.
And how did you guys feel seeing that silhouette of Spider-Man? Did you automatically assume?
Already knew.
Oh yeah, he was
Okay.
in the
Automatically
suit. You
knew.
could see his big head from far away.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing that I
He's calling-
hated about
he's
the
calling
Ama-
Big Head?
You don't, bro. You did not see his head in the Amazing Spider-Man. For some reason, just his mask makes his head look longer.
Well, he
I
had
don't
like
know
the bug
why.
eye. The bug eye.
Yeah,
look.
and that's I don't like that. Just
I
don't
feel
like
you.
that.
He's
I
calling
feel
Big Head.
It just looks big.
So
than
cool.
everybody
We
else's.
get Andrew Garfield jumping in. I think the banter in the beginning with him and Zendaya, like, I had the tingle. Just it's not for bread.
Yeah, it was great.
Don't throw the bread.
You get him getting the cobweb, and then all that ends, and then we get the youth pastor.
Toby.
Yes.
We
Toby
get the
himself.
OG. We get Tobey Maguire coming through. We get Lola flirting with him and like winking at him. I don't know what that was about. It's kind of sus.
Well,
but
because he always pulls all the
He's
old
older.
ladies. He pulls all the old ladies. That was Toby's MO.
was it really?
Yeah, he always had old ladies.
Interesting. I
Old
never knew
ladies
that.
always rocked with him.
especially Toby, I guess.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, he was the oldest one out of all of them too. So.
But also from this moment, I knew that Andrew Garfield was out acting the fuck out of everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I think he really was like, okay, this is another opportunity as Spider-Man that I have. I don't know if I'm going to get another opportunity. And if I do, this is going to be my chance at showing them that I'm worthy of doing another Spider-Man movie. So I think he really just went all out, best he could.
Right.
You know,
Well, they really
to
care
try to
about the
secure-
role.
Yeah, and not only he cares about the role. He's said it multiple times, even in the interviews. He's like, I mean, he kind of said it in a way because he knew he was going to be in it, but he time and time again they've asked him if he's in the movie. He's always said no, but I'm always looking forward to what they're gonna do with Spider-Man next. So
yeah, and anything can happen. You know,
anything can happen, especially now. I mean, look at the Snyder Cut happened.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
fans
anything
bullied the
in
studio.
movies can happen. We have the technology for it.
Right.
Like they can pay you to do it if the story calls for it.
And you know what? I
can
wouldn't
come through.
mind them bringing back the Rhino and maybe fixing up Green Goblin a little bit. Their own, you know. I think.
Yeah,
I think they can do it a little bit
that
better.
there's definitely room there, and we can jump into that. I want to get into the emotions behind this movie.
Mm-hmm.
There were multiple times where this movie wanted to make you cry.
I cried.
Yeah,
I got teary eyed. There were a few moments. I can't get over the fact how impressed I was that they added every single moment you wanted to see with a Spider-Man.
Right.
Like they had
the
Toby and
glider.
Andrew together, right? You didn't think that you were going to just get them together.
Mhm.
So
Right.
you got them together.
You get them having the banter inside the lab. And
Then you got the lab of all three of them.
Right.
You didn't think you were going to get Lab Peter
I did
all together.
not.
I didn't know that we were going to get that at all.
Yeah.
And then you get, obviously I knew that they were going to have some sort of emotional communication with Tom, like talking about, and I knew that they were going to take the approach of, because it just makes sense to have Andrew be Spider-Man all the time because of what happened with Gwen.
Right.
And then Toby being Peter most of the time, and then being Spider-Man sometimes just because of all that he's been through and him really trying to get his balance.
Right.
He's trying to get his balance. Like, so I knew that they were going to take that approach and how both of those things were going to feed into Tom's Spider-Man to really understand like what was going on. But I didn't know that it was going to bring me to tears like that. Like the dialogue was way more intense and they addressed everything that needed to get addressed during a time where Tom was acting his ass off.
Yeah.
After Aunt May got
Got.
Yeah, got.
No,
Yeah,
she's
I mean, that-
bro,
Even the
that
way she
glider-
died it's very similar
Yeah, she got
to when
smacked.
Goblin died in the first movie.
So
When he
just
got
to kind of
impaled
start
by
on
his own
that.
glider.
Yeah, obviously.
That
I'm
was
glad they
cool.
didn't impale her at least.
Oh,
That
no.
would have been pretty crazy.
They couldn't.
I mean,
they couldn't
I
because there's no
was-
wall there.
Yeah, I was looking for like a little bit more of like I think the contact. I wanted the contact to kind of hit a little bit more where like it almost
Come on,
made
bro,
me
this is a
feel
kid's
like
movie.
I know, but it almost made me feel like okay, she's like gonna survive. Like it
For a
didn't
sec.
it didn't feel like a contact that like from the hit where it was like, oh, it's a wrap. Like
Yeah.
it's
It's a
totally
wrap.
over. It's a wrap.
Oh
wrap.
no, I thought it was a rap. And then when she got up, I was like, oh.
So
And
shout
then
out to
she
Marissa Tomei because
died. I
the
was like,
way she was acting was such a good representation of adrenaline.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Of adrenaline pumping through your veins and you basically being invincible for 5 minutes, taking hits, you being injured, you're
Getting
gonna
up,
die
acting like
and not even
everything's okay.
exactly not realizing
The
how.
shivering, bro.
Yeah.
The shivering got me. I was like, oh, okay. She's
So
outta
shout out to her.
She should have just said, "Call a doctor, please."
But-
she could have survived.
But what I did not
Please.
what I did not expect was her dropping the great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah, I didn't
Yes.
expect that either. I thought Toby
Somebody
was going to
needed to
give
say
that.
Yeah.
Was going to give that to him, but I liked how they did it. It made me realize, okay, I'm okay with Aunt May being Tom's Uncle Ben.
Yeah,
that
there's
makes
no
sense.
there's,
You know what I
there's
mean? Like,
technically
it's-
no Uncle Ben
There's-
in this
yeah.
in this
There's so many points
Or
that
is
like I
there?
just think about it and I'm just like, oh, like yeah, like just sad moments just makes me want to tear up. I mean, we finally got the part that we saw in the trailers of MJ falling, and obviously it was speculated that maybe Andrew Garfield's gonna save her, and yes,
He got his
that is
redemption arc, bro.
exactly.
That's his
And
redemption
that
arc.
was the part.
And he did it with
that
such
got
confidence.
me.
Oh, bro, that part got
He
me
did it
too.
differently too.
He did it.
In-
Yeah, well,
in
he
The
did it
Amazing
the way
Spider-Man
that
2.
he replayed it so many times that he was like, "Nah, I'm making sure that I'm going to
like
do this."
yeah, in the Amazing Spider-Man 2, he like shot the web and tried to catch her, and yeah, it did not work out. But yeah, this time he was like, I'm going head
Like
first.
my hands are going to wrap around this person. I will make sure that they're safe. On top of that, I'm gonna do a flip and stand up straight. Like there was so much confidence in him doing it. Because I feel like he's been rehearsing this over and over and over and over again. And he didn't want it to be like, oh, I almost did it. It was, I'm doing it fully without any type of like, she's not going to be hurt at all, you know? And him accomplishing that was great.
Did we get any
Perfect
moments
redemption.
like that from Toby?
Yes. With Green Goblin.
Yes, we did.
When Tom Holland's Spider-Man was about to kill Green Goblin.
Yes.
You know what? You're right.
And just that face-to-face of Toby
I
and
wanted
Tom.
Toby just to do like a little shake though. Just like a, like,
it was
like,
enough
like a
though.
no. Yeah.
Like Toby knew like you done what you could, you know, like this is not the plan. He even said it when they were doing the serum. He's like, I've always wanted to cure Osborn, and then Tom Holland was just like sitting there like, nah, bro.
Yeah.
We're
And he
not
was like,
gonna
because we're
cure
going to
him.
cure everyone. We're going
Yeah.
to cure that ass.
Yeah, cure that ass. And Tom
Cure
Holland
some
just
ass.
really was like, no, I'm gonna kill him type thing. And
Yeah,
You know,
he was
and
giving,
if
he
he
was beating the
would've-
brakes off of him.
if you would have, oh my god, yeah, he was. I mean,
Bro, that
it was a perfect
he
rematch.
flipped
Yeah.
him.
I love the rematch.
Flipped him on his ass, bro.
I mean, I didn't necessarily like that move.
I knew it was fire.
I don't like when that move. I just knew that wires were involved.
Yeah.
And I wanted more of that's what made the first fight so fire, because like when he threw him up, it was like, okay, I know that that's wires, but when he spine busted dude through it just felt the impact. I was like, oh shit.
There's just
like,
so
I
much,
did like the rematch though.
so much wrestling involved in this movie. It was so fire.
bro, when Peter jumped on his shoulders and started socking
Punched
him out
him,
and
he
Homeboy
started
was
smiling.
laughing, bro,
Oh my
loved
God.
it. Loved it. It was great.
That's when I was like, damn, this Goblin is super OP.
I remember
like,
when
not
we're
even
we're
have
watching
him.
in the theater with the homies, I could hear everybody in the back like, oh my God.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, you're in the back with
Yeah.
Oh, both of you were in the back.
I
I was
there.
in the very middle back.
I saved the seats in the front because y'all wanted the front, and you were like, "Nah, I want a better view."
I
No,
did.
you know,
I didn't know. I walked in because I kind of did get there
Yeah,
a little
I
late.
walked
and
in
I was
right
like,
when it
I'm
was
just
like
gonna sit
late.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just kind of picked a spot. I didn't want to like
But it was a
cover
good spot.
people
I
or
was sitting,
anything like
I was
that.
sitting next to Sean, and he had
Esta.
seen the movie
I
too.
was next
But
to the homie
Yeah.
John, so it was
yeah.
cool.
And I was sitting next to 3-Bit
we were next
on
to
the
Sean
left
John.
too.
Oh yeah, 3-bit was in the back too.
Yeah.
3-bit sat right in the middle.
Yeah, they
Fire.
did. Yeah, off to the right. Yeah, they were cool. It was cool
But,
hearing the reactions for sure.
Mhm.
But yeah, that those fight scenes and kind of just seeing part 2 on the Shield.
Yeah.
Also, guys didn't notice Skywalker like noticed during the movie, tying in Hawkeye to the.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see the new and improved
Pretty much-
Statue of Liberty.
Far
Mhm.
From Home, I think No Way Home
It
is literally
coincides.
taking place at the same time as Hawkeye. During that fight
It-
scene, I think is the last episode of Hawkeye, because Yelena in episode 5
Yeah.
says, "I want to go see the new and improved Statue of Liberty,"
Mhm.
and we didn't know what they were talking about. We're like, new and improved Statue of Liberty, but then you also hear it in Hawkeye. They talk about
But
there's
this-
an interview about it where they talk about the shield.
see, it's a little weird for me because when she says that, you'd assume that it was done,
Yeah. So
but it's not done.
Yeah.
So
No, I think because they know it's being worked on. I think it was about to be revealed though, because in the movie they're interviewing some guy. It's like a little radio tidbit. On the news,
yeah.
and he's like, "Oh, I wish they didn't do that. Like,
Mhm.
just leave the Statue of Liberty be. Like, Captain America's cool, but what does he have to do with the Statue of Liberty? It was just a little tidbit.
Mhm.
Probably just like a little detail, but yeah, I think it was about to be revealed, and then
Yeah.
all that went down.
Spider-Man.
Well, even coinciding, we'll talk coinciding with Hawkeye real quick. I mean, the nonchalant
Oh,
reveal of
gosh.
Matt Murdock
My
just
guy.
jumping straight in.
Catching bricks.
There wasn't even a setup. It
Bro.
was just like, here you go. And I was like, whoa,
Spider-Man-
whoa.
Going back to
Spider-Man
the first time we
almost
saw
caught a
it-
brick to the face.
Oh, yes.
That's a bar. That's
like
a bar.
that.
Shout out to
He
Lisa.
did almost catch a brick to the face.
Okay, so seeing that perfect shot of just a hand on a cane.
Oh, yeah.
It was very minimal,
Mhm.
but it felt like so long.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Watching it for the first time, did you like automatically like?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
No.
I-
I
my-
recognize
I
that
tightened
so
up. I was
fast.
like, oh.
Because
like,
nobody, I mean,
because it just came out of nowhere. It wasn't a setup. Like even though the setup was very like
it was a small rumor, but
well, not just the rumor, but like even narratively, right? Narratively, the setup was you're gonna need a lawyer. Everybody was saying you're gonna need a lawyer, or like I want to talk to my lawyer. I want to talk to my lawyer, and then now we got the lawyer, right? And I feel like that there's more scenes that were set that were probably throughout that have been filmed, but it was just they just threw it in there, and like
yeah.
Aunt May
I mean-
knows him, and I was just like, wait, like what?
Yeah.
How did this happen?
Yeah.
But I thought it was great just coming off of Hawkeye's reveal that Kingpin
is in the MCU.
is in the MCU as well,
And it's also supposed
within the same time frame. You know, like just to your point of what you were saying with episode 5.
And they were talking about in the next episode of Hawkeye that there might, which is episode 6, it's supposed to
He may show up.
confirmed if
And Matt
Daredevil
Murdock.
is canon. I think, yeah, we know Daredevil now is canon, but I think the storyline that was on Netflix, if that's canon,
Yeah,
exactly, or if
my-
they're gonna switch it up a little
My
bit.
assumption is the way they're gonna get out of not get away, step away from the Netflix series is going to be mirror variants. I feel like mirror variants is gonna be the easiest cop out.
I don't think that they have to.
Yeah,
You know, I personally
I think that's too much of an easy cop out.
well, I just think that the Daredevil timeline lines up enough
Yeah,
for
I don't think they have
it
to do
be
too much
They don't even have to change any. Like literally, they don't have to change anything
because they own
can-
it.
Yeah.
It's not just that, but I recently rewatched Daredevil, so I watched all 3 seasons, and no, I didn't finish the 3rd season, but like I started watching it again,
You're there.
and you know the first season they really talk about what happened in New York, like the Battle of New York, and that being the case. So I feel like all you really have to explain, if you explain anything, is Matt Murdock could have been blipped and Kingpin didn't. So
Yeah.
Kingpin has his time of getting back involved with everything that he needs to get back involved in, and Matt Murdock came back and realized Kingpin's out of jail and running this underground, and he has to be Daredevil again. But I don't think anything in Daredevil like doesn't acknowledge everything else that happened outside in the MCU. Like it kind of lines up.
Imagine getting blipped and being blind. It's just all darkness.
Well, it
He sensed
happens
it.
quick. I mean, we
True.
see it in. I mean, we're gonna talk about this more when we do our
Yeah,
Hawkeye
it-
quick dive.
Yeah,
We see it
it's
in
true.
the beginning of episode 5 of Hawkeye. It's like she turns on the water, she puts her hand under it, and then
And everything around her morphs.
everything morphed out of nowhere.
Which I
then
thought was dope because
it was weird. It was just like it happened quickly. Like
It was
only
like
2
5
minutes.
seconds.
That was the first
Yeah,
time.
that's what
That
she
was the
said.
first time we've
5-10
gotten that
seconds.
because we've seen
The
people
exact way it
re-arriving
happens.
from the blip, like in Far From Home. We
Mhm.
see it happening at the basketball game.
Mhm.
People kind of just reappear, but
Or in WandaVision.
or WandaVision exactly.
Mhm.
So yeah, it was different, definitely a different way of
Yeah.
showing it.
Yeah.
So,
But I thought it was great that they even added a little bit of him being Daredevil, and he wasn't just Matt Murdock. Like it
How did
was.
you do that?
Yeah, just even.
He's a really good lawyer.
Because not even the Spider Sense picked it up.
Well, that's what's so fire about it is because like one, he's not like adept enough in his spider sense to pick it up.
his spider
But-
sense isn't like how the other two.
But two,
Spider-Mans are.
Daredevil has better senses than Spider-Man anyway.
Yeah.
So like, and that's like in the comics, and I think that's what like blends the two. So if anybody was going to find out that Peter was Spider-Man, it would be Daredevil, because Daredevil would be able to hear Peter's heartbeat and say that that is the same heartbeat as Spider-Man.
Right.
So you must be Spider-Man.
Right.
Like he would just be able to deduce it. You know,
Spider Man, right?
he'd be like, "Oh, well, you ate this when I saw Peter, and now I smell this from Spider-Man." Like it would just be the
Yeah.
same thing.
Yeah.
So
He doesn't- I mean, he doesn't even got to see your face. to
yeah,
know,
but just even throwing, like, he could have just been Matt Murdock,
Mhm.
right? Like just the lawyer. We couldn't
I-
have seen
I
anything with
honestly-
Daredevil.
Yeah.
but
did
just
not
his
expect
reaction.
anything like that. I thought it was just gonna be just him as a lawyer.
Exactly.
That was
and
literally
then
all
just
I thought.
having that happen out of nowhere, it was just brilliant. I was like, this is great. Like,
and
of
really
course
just,
you got to make it into a joke because then now it's going to turn into a whole other thing. Like if he like explains it
my
more.
friend said it like he told me pretty much like they just threw Daredevil in as like afterthought. You know?
I don't think it was an afterthought, but I don't think that this was meant to be, this is going to be Daredevil's entrance into the MCU.
Yeah.
I think Daredevil's going to appear in She-Hulk. I think he's going to appear over time.
She-Hulk.
I think he
Echo.
could appear in Echo as well. You know, I think that,
and that's what I like. I like that they introduce
Plus.
more. They're introducing more of like these side characters instead of like the main characters like Daredevil, like Echo. And then we're getting the Swordsman too, and then I guess not Hawkeye,
because
but
they
Kate
realize
Bishop.
that the way to bring in all these D and C characters is to have them associated with A characters that we really want to see. And I think the same thing is going to happen with X-Men. I doubt that we're going to get an actual X-Men movie or show.
It's going to be a while.
It's going to be some mutants that we don't particularly care about or know that are going to be associated. Exactly. They're going to be associated with the X-Men. The X-Men are going to appear alongside all of that.
I mean, they've kind of Fox, when Fox was doing Deadpool, they kind of already did that. You know, they were throwing in all these.
They just didn't do it like the way the MCU would have done it, like narratively wrote it so that it works.
I think Ryan Reynolds did it. He did it in a way kind of like as a parody of how Marvel would do it.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to just choose some really, really obscure characters. Because I know Marvel really chooses like these really obscure characters. But we can do it because...
Well, there was actually a conversation where they exchanged Negasonic... Teenage Warhead with another character that Marvel wanted to use.
Magic, maybe?
No, because that was still Fox at the time. It was a character that we've seen in the MCU that like... I feel like it might have been someone from the Guardians of the Galaxy or something. Like, basically Fox owned them, Marvel owned Negasonic, and they traded. You know, so that because Fox wanted to use Negasonic, and then Marvel was like, all right, we'll give us something, and they ended up doing that. I forgot which I forgot which Marvel character it was, but there's an article on it that's around. I don't know if we'll get fact checked on that, but
yeah, that's a hard fact check.
Yeah, you know, so just to your point, you know, they're thinking of these obscure characters. Yeah. No character is obscure enough if the narrative calls for it. Yeah, right? Bro. Like you can have anybody.
Soon.
We might, you know, but,
I don't know, but
overall, I mean, I love that Spider-Man. They included every theory that you wanted, like everything that you wanted that made narrative sense. They said, "Here you go."
Yeah,
and it was great.
It was kind of like with a purpose, even though that purpose may not have been so prevalent right away. But like throwing in things like Matt Murdock or the slight hints of Agent Venom, like stuff like that. Like
and
it was well executed.
I feel like we did kind of touch on most of the movie.
I mean, the ending was something that I didn't suspect at all.
Yeah, so I guess let's kind of just wrap it up with kind of like just giving like our insight on the ending, because when me and Skywalker were watching it, right away we're erasing him. They're erasing him from the universe, right? And my thought the whole time was like, oh, he's gonna end up in the Sony universe.
Yeah.
So I wasn't anticipating the spell just to happen, right? The spell that he didn't want to happen, like I wasn't expecting him to just be like, you know what, just run it. It's gonna fix everything. Run the spell. So that made me really happy, but also being able to see him. I'm gonna find you.
Yeah,
we're gonna restart. I'm gonna find you.
I'll make it work. I'll make you believe that I'm Spider-Man or I'm Peter Parker. You know, it'll work out.
And I'm gonna tell you all about it again when it. Yeah. Tell you all about it when
for me, I thought it was like all that was well and good, and I thought it was particularly brilliant for the MCU to correct. I don't want to say correct because that sounds like that they made a mistake, but they had to introduce Spider-Man in a certain way, right? They didn't have a choice. They were like, we can't origin this guy. We have to put him in this certain way. But they were able to loop the story back to creating an origin for him, which I thought was absolutely masterful. And I didn't think that it was going to be possible or that it was going to happen. You know, when it came to Peter, like in the comic books, Spider-Man always wears his mask. There isn't anybody that knows that he is Peter. Like there just isn't. Even other superheroes, when they team up, he's Spider-Man. Like they talk about it. They're like, why don't you reveal your identity? Like that's why that was a huge thing in Civil War in the comic books of him revealing his identity. But they never were able to do that. And now they've matched that in the MCU where Spider-Man exists, but no one knows that it's Peter Parker, and he's going to protect that forever now, which is great. And showing him getting the apartment, being on his own, sewing his own suit. It was unbelievable.
Very Tobey Maguire
to see it. Like not just Tobey Maguire, it's Spider-Man. Yeah. But
the way Tobey Maguire did it. I guess that's when I think of that.
Well, because Andrew Garfield did that too. You know, he sewed his own suit and like put it all together and everything. But it just, the reason why and it not being an origin, I couldn't believe that you were able to construct a story that would make that like the reason why without it being an origin.
Of it being so dark but needed but very lighthearted. Right, and lighthearted, lighthearted in the sense that he's finally at that maturity now where he realizes.
And I think it's crazy.
He's on his own. Yeah, he's on his own, and he accepts it, and he's okay with that.
Spider-Man on his own.
I mean, honestly, honestly, it's crazy because this Spider-Man, Tom Holland Spider-Man, should be 5 years older than he is. You know, he should have been in college already. They really loopholed that to keep him as young as he could,
for sure.
Just by blipping him.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there was no point of blipping him other than having, like they didn't really need to write him in to be blipped, but they just did it because it's like, it's perfect, you know? Like, we can have him at the same age for, you know, another movie or two, and it's exactly what they did.
And it was brilliant.
Yeah.
It was
Marvel's really
it was very calculated. And I just didn't see it coming, and I don't know, man. I just really appreciated them throwing that in because they didn't have to. They could have easily just ended the movie with him refusing to talk to MJ and Ned and have him walk out, and it'd just be like, all right, you know, that's the end of the movie.
Go back on the police scanner. Like
exactly. But, you know, or cool. Not even going on. Like he never really used a police scanner before. Like it was just.
Didn't Toby have one though? Like
Toby had one. He had an actual.
Toby
scanner.
had an like the point of it wasn't to be like Toby.
No, I know.
Right. And that's what I loved about it.
The point of it was him becoming the comic accurate, the Peter Parker that needs to be on his own. No Stark tech.
Phase 4 is about comic accuracy.
Yes.
So for them to find a way to get comic book accurate with Spider-Man
in the most seamless way,
it was just unbelievable to me.
Like I throw all this crazy stuff at you, and then just
it was the craziest origin. You had a 5.5 movie origin story to get to the point where
there's no way home.
Where there's no way home.
Yeah,
but
and it is crazy because I mean he's been in other movies, he's been in Endgame and Infinity War for.
So basically,
that was really
just
cool
to throw that out there, everything that's happened with Spider-Man so far has happened. Civil War has happened. The Homecoming series has happened.
People still know who
all
Spider-Man
that's changed is
they don't
no
know
one knows it's
is.
Peter Parker, or they don't know who Peter Parker is.
Yeah, and none of his friends or fellow heroes know who Peter Parker is, but
Only
they
Nick
know
Fury.
who Spider-Man is.
Right.
Which, it's crazy because like that works out, and probably something that you should have said in the beginning.
Right.
But you know. We wouldn't have a movie if you would have said that.
One more thing before we go into the mid-credit, end credit, is at the very end of the movie, after the police scanner, after, you know, he resewed a new suit. And I think it's because he did a new suit because he couldn't repair his other suits. They're probably like damaged or something. He probably doesn't have the technology to repair it because he
doesn't have access to the technology.
Stark no more and all that. But at the end of the movie, he's swinging in the snow, and he even crosses, I think, where the ice skating rink
Rockefeller
and
Ice
the
Rink.
Rockefeller
Rockefeller.
Center.
Yeah.
And that just leads me to think immediately Hawkeye. Like that's literally what's happening in Hawkeye, type thing.
The
So it's
Christmas
like,
tree and
are we gonna see him in the last episode of Hawkeye?
Are we gonna get a silhouette?
Are we maybe gonna just
even if it's just him swinging by.
yeah? Or are we gonna get him as Peter Parker? Are we gonna get him as Spider-Man? We'll see. It's just a little interesting tidbit, and I mean they wouldn't just put that there, just because.
Well,
I
the
mean,
Rockefeller Center is something that is, it's like
No,
a
no, yeah,
staple
for sure.
especially in
but to have
winters in New
another
York.
show happening around that same time, it's kind of like you
Very interesting.
and the show is literally happening at the same time right now as the movie
That's the
just
beautiful
came
thing,
out.
bro, is that
Yeah.
everything's tying in together, happening during the same
They
time.
tied that one in,
And if it
that was like
happens-
a loophole.
Yeah.
They really threaded the needle.
And
with
then,
that
like,
one,
if it
for sure.
happens, awesome. If it doesn't happen, awesome, because it's gonna be great no matter what.
Yeah, this last episode I'm hyped for. But yeah, let's get into the mid credit, end credit, and then we can get into the Flickie awards.
All right, let's do
Okay,
it.
cool. Sinister Six, apparently.
Yeah, the sixth.
The
Yes.
Sixth Sinister.
The Sixth Sinister was revealed as the mid credit.
My boy was in Mexico getting lit.
Trying to
Papa
figure
Bear.
trying to figure
He was a
out
Papa
what was
Bear
going on in
drunk.
the universe.
Yes, and making fun of a name like
Aliens?
Hulk.
Aliens
Hulk.
don't love stones. They love eating brains, and
So do you think in
Nuts.
in the next
I feel like
Venom,
he just
he'll-
improv that whole thing.
he did.
You think in the next Venom he'll remember all that, right?
Yeah, I think he will,
That's interesting.
or at least
'Cause he's the
I think
only-
Venom would, because Venom's been to multiple
Yeah,
universes
but
anyway.
he's the
so.
only villain that we're still gonna see more of.
Yeah, which also leaves me curious that even though Peter
Well,
cured
because
them,
all the other villains were already cured.
Yeah, and
yeah, real
obviously
quick,
they couldn't
just
cure him
because he
'cause they
cured
couldn't
them doesn't mean they don't perish.
No, okay, it's a
It's
a
weird.
whole
It's
thing with the time. Like Hulk said it, like just because you go back and change the past doesn't mean you change the future. Like you're just creating a new timeline. So I think that's just what's gonna happen.
the weird part that they hadn't addressed, which I hope that they would address, is why Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin is alive, because he shouldn't be.
Right.
No, so I mean, this is just a little video that I saw from Screen Crush. All the villains were brought in at the exact moment they found out when Peter Parker was Spider-Man.
When they came to the realization that Peter Parker was Spider-Man.
yeah,
Okay,
So-
so then
so
the
Green-
realization
Green
for-
Goblin was for Thanksgiving
was
when
at
he saw the cut
Thanksgiving.
on his arm,
Yeah,
and then Sandman. I don't really remember Sandman.
Sandman was,
And then Doc Ock was when he was choking him on the bridge, and then
Yeah.
he took his mask off and saw that it was Peter Parker.
Gotcha.
The lizard was the one in the sewer when he turned the camera over and he saw property of Peter Parker. I guess the only one is Electro. I don't know if Electro.
he
Really
mentioned
knew.
in the movie where he was like, I was whipping Spider-Man's tail and shit, I was about to die.
Yeah.
yeah,
But
but
he
he didn't
didn't
know
know-
that it was Peter Parker.
That's that's the only loophole. I don't know why. I don't really care.
So either way,
at
they,
this point,
they
'cause he
just
did
popped out right
great.
before they're
Yeah.
gonna get theirs, before they're gonna
Yeah.
get got.
That too,
Nick
except for
Goblins.
Green Goblin. Yeah, I don't know. It's a continuity error. Obviously, there's always going to be continuity errors. No movie is perfect.
Nobody's perfect.
Yeah. So
Still good enough.
Some of it, I mean, it's like 95 percentile for like making
Yeah,
sense.
for sure.
But to get a movie that with all of what's going on to be
It's already
95
hard
percentile,
enough.
Yeah.
it's difficult.
especially
You
That's
can't
why,
do it
that's
all.
why Marvel doesn't show dates in movies anymore.
3 different
Yeah,
properties.
that's true.
Like, come on, that's crazy.
I mean,
But
they covered up May's tombstone
exactly.
so that we didn't know
Because
what,
they were like,
what day it was.
you ain't gonna get us this time.
Yep.
yeah. Not even. We got it in Eternals, I
Yo,
guess.
I got something.
Yeah.
What's
I
up?
was I was reading about the whole Electro thing,
Mm-hmm.
and that he did say in the movie that he was like on the power grid absorbing data.
Oh,
So
that's when he found out.
He knows Peter Parker by name because he absorbed that data, but not by face, which is why he was like really trying to put
Oh.
a face to the name.
Yeah.
and
that
it's-
makes sense.
That
That makes
name-
sense.
That face was just
Man,
not,
you
it
know
was
what?
Not Miles, but
I hope y'all get a fact checker for your podcast.
Hey,
because-
I mean, I'm pretty sure Marvel has
That's
the
good.
details.
That's a good tidbit.
Marvel has
You're
the
welcome.
details of how Electro probably found out. We probably won't ever know. They're like,
They'll
Unless
release a
there's a-
book.
Yeah, unless there's a
They'll
book or
release a
behind the
book
scenes or
and
something. It's like,
say
oh,
it,
there
yeah.
it is. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of facts that come out, and we're gonna be like, oh, I had no idea.
So
Imagine
sorry,
Electro and-
back to
Back to
back to the
Venom.
mid
Imagine Electro
credit.
and Ultron.
Back to this guy.
We get the banter between the bartender and Venom.
And the Avengers don't exist in any other
Avengers,
universe.
they don't exist. What is that? I don't know what
Is that
that
a
is.
band?
You're in a band.
Is that a band?
You're in a
Crazy.
band.
It's ridiculous.
Symbiote. I think that's what it comes down to. Because
Symbiote. That's it. Next scene.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
so
Yeah.
we get Venom in Mexico right as
Yeah, it's
the
just Tom
spell's
Hardy,
completed.
Yeah, just
Mhm.
Eddie Brock.
Yeah, we get Eddie Brock getting sucked back into the Sony universe, but lo and behold, there is a small piece of symbiote still in Mexico left
Mhm.
there.
Yeah.
Which I think was definitely an afterthought. Like,
Do you think that one was an afterthought?
I think Tom Hardy was an afterthought because
Well, yeah, he was in
they-
the movie, so
exactly, like they were like, okay, we got to figure out a way. When they did the Carnage, Venom
Sony-
2,
yeah.
and they were like, okay, how could we tie these two in together? Well, we can do 2 end credit scenes,
Sony,
but
for
we can't
sure-
tie them. Like, we can't bring the actors in, so we'll bring, we'll make it isolated for both of them.
Yeah,
I think
And there you
Sony
go.
for sure was just like, all right, now how can we add Venom? And Marvel's like, I don't think we could do that. And they're like, come on, if you don't do it, you can't do all this. And it's like, damn, all right, we'll fit them
Gotta
in
figure it out.
somewhere. We'll figure it out. No worries. And
Well,
then
it just
that's
never
what
made
post-credits
sense.
and mid-credit scenes are for now.
It
So-
just never made sense for Venom to go up against Tom Holland's Spider-Man anyway.
right.
Like, it just wasn't
no.
going to make sense at all. No matter how you sliced it, it just wasn't
Yeah,
the
not
tone.
Tom
It
Hardy.
wasn't. Just didn't.
The
make
only
any
thing that
sense.
would make sense is just that the symbiote hive mind knows who Peter Parker
Yeah.
is, and
But
So-
even then, like, that barely made sense. Like, they
Yeah.
barely threw that in where it was like, wait, what?
Yeah, at the
All of
end
a sudden,
of-
like, what are you talking about?
at the end of
It's
Venom
not.
2,
Yeah, that the whole hive mind thing's never going to be brought up
The
again.
only thing they
I think
could
they
have
will.
done was leave a piece of the symbiote in the MCU, which is what we saw, and
Where I
they don't
believe-
have to capitalize on that either.
Where
they
I
could just
believe
leave
we're
it.
gonna get either Agent
No,
Venom,
I-
which is to me it's very slight because I don't like the casting.
I think it
of
goes
Flash.
back to what you were
Mhm.
saying, like borrowing characters. They're like, all right, well, you can borrow this character, but it can't be our character.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
you're gonna have to create your own.
your own
and
variant.
it's probably only gonna be, you can make one movie or you can make a
Mhm.
show, and you can
Mhm.
probably have them in this many movies. Blah blah blah. So we'll see what they do. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, we've seen post credit scenes change, and like with Thanos already having the gauntlet and then not having the gauntlet. So anything can happen, and they don't really have to use it because it's all Sony contracts. So
Yeah,
if they don't want to use it, then they won't. But I think they will.
I think Agent Venom will most likely be where they're gonna go.
You
I
think
don't
so?
think. Yeah, I don't think that they're gonna have Venom versus Spider-Man from like a villain standpoint because Venom, in its current iteration,
think will be,
is an
Agent Venom?
anti-hero.
Yeah, so
So
I think the main
I think it'll be
thing
Flash.
is that I just don't like the
Unfortunately.
I just don't like the casting.
I don't like the
of Flash.
casting of Flash either.
So
but
what I think it
they'll
is
do
is that it's
Penis Parker.
or I mean, I don't know if they'll bring in Harry. They might bring in Harry,
Yeah.
Could
but
happen still.
it can happen.
so
It's not gonna be
obviously what makes Venom is kind of like his attachment to Spider-Man more so.
hmm
So I think the only way they got to tie that in would be Flash is such a fanboy of Spider-Man, wants to be like Spider-Man.
hmm
Yeah.
So when the symbiote attracts itself to him, he's like, "Oh wow, I'm kind of like
That's
Peter
just
now.
So
Mhm.
played
I'm kind of like
out
Spider-Man now,
now.
rather.
hmm
So how can I look? Boom, Spider-Man.
Yeah, I can see that.
So
Unfortunately, I just don't like who they casted as Flash. But
Terrible casting, bro.
I mean, he's a great
They're
actor.
just all
but I
kids
just
when they
don't
were
like.
casted. Like
It's just the casting.
all the castings we saw of Flash before have not been kids. Even with Mary Jane, they haven't been kids.
Joe Magdanello, what's his name? He's
Um,
Deathstroke.
Yeah.
DiMaggio,
yeah.
isn't it DiMaggio?
It's not Joe
Something?
DiMaggio.
In the
Sound-
first
I think it's
trilogy,
Magdanello.
right?
Yeah, in the original trilogy. The
Okay.
Raimi.
Yeah.
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 But actually, the Flash that was in the Amazing Spider-Man would have been the best Flash to be Agent Venom.
Mhm.
Oh no, man, he looked like MGK. I don't know about
all
that.
right. So last end credit scene.
End credits.
It's a teaser
Trailer.
Trailer.
It's a teaser trailer.
Has that been done before?
Nope.
No, huh?
Only in music videos.
Oh no! The way I took it was like when we get the trailer for Far From Home, you get Tom Holland like, "Hey, if you haven't seen Endgame, don't watch this trailer. So the fact that they're like, okay, well, like we're just gonna give everybody the trailer now, or teaser trailer now, because
Yeah,
you
the
have to
movie's
watch this
out.
movie to kind of understand. the
Yeah, I
concept
mean,
of the
I don't
multiverse.
think it's like a full trailer. I feel like I call it like a featurette, you know.
I
Or
like that.
I mean, we
it's
can't even
like a,
see it again.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's just a featurette.
you can only
you know?
you can only see it after the movie now, or if you find somebody recorded on
Somebody
phone.
recorded it. It's
Yeah,
it's up on YouTube somewhere.
It's on
Not
YouTube.
gonna
watch
I
it
watched
like
it a few
that, bro.
times.
One of the key things about it though is that this is the first time that an MCU movie referenced a Disney Plus movie or a Disney Plus show. You
Right.
know, with Doctor Strange saying this isn't about Westview,
Right.
which
So what is this
was
about?
pretty cool.
What do you know about
Yeah,
that?
they're finally tying it in. I mean, yeah, they have.
Yeah.
I mean, no, Hawkeye, with
And we got
Yelena,
some
Black Widow.
But he's talking
yeah,
more so
actually,
like the referencing.
yeah. Well, but other way around though, because the shows have always referenced the movies, but having a movie
That's
The movie
reference the
referenced the
show.
show.
That's true.
And you know, we got glimpses of Mordo with his cornrows, which I thought were hilarious.
That was Narik 2 years ago.
It's gonna be me in a few years. And then we also got our first glimpse of America Chavez.
Yeah.
Yes,
which,
bro,
which was
about
really
time.
cool.
I
Yeah,
immediately was
super excited.
like
to see
to
it.
Sincere was like, who is that? Because I did. He caught the shield. I didn't.
Star. Yeah.
I didn't even catch it. Not even the second time I caught
Narik,
it.
She
can you let the people
punches-
know who America Chavez is?
America Chavez is actually she's an alien and multiverse traveler, and she can punch holes in different dimensions, basically.
Mhm.
And I don't know how they're gonna do her origin story, this one, but I believe like her mother and father are from like Jupiter or something like that, or from Venus or something, and she's like escaping her homeworld and ends up like finding our universe by like
So
traveling through the multiverse.
does Miss Marvel come out before?
No,
Dr.
Miss
Marvels?
Marvel got pushed back till 2023.
What?
Yep, both Miss
That
Marvel
mo-
and the Marvels.
That show almost came out this year. How did they push
Yeah.
it back so far?
I don't know.
So, real quick, America
weird.
Chavez, she's Miss Marvel?
No,
No?
she's
Okay.
not.
Cool.
She's not. America Chavez has nothing to do with the Marvels at all.
Okay, cool.
She's her own character. It's one of those things where it's like I don't know why they went with like the star and like America with her like being like a traveling
From
like
Alien.
like a cosmic person.
Cosmic being.
Like it kind of
It's kind
seems
of like
weird.
Captain Marvel and the Star.
I don't know. I don't like again, I have no idea how they're going to do her origin story. Like the only reason why it made sense for her to be in the Multiverse of Madness is because she punches holes into
Multiverse.
Into the
the
multiverse.
multiverse.
Right.
But I don't know how Doctor Strange is going to find her. From what I've like kind of read,
I hope that movie's
it's
long.
like America Chavez is going to be like the person kind of like showing what the multiverse looks like from a ground level.
Hmm.
That we haven't seen before, because He Who Remains we've seen from a very outside perspective, and Doctor Strange has like a magic kind of perspective, but America Chavez is going to be like what we're seeing like of it being normalized and like what that looks like. So I think that she'll be the character that we kind of follow through the Multiverse of Madness
Right.
until like Doctor Strange like really, really gets involved. But the other big part is that we see what looks like to be Strange Supreme,
Yep.
which is pretty interesting. I don't think that it's the same Strange Supreme
What
from
If.
What If, because that Strange Supreme has been reformed.
Right.
However, I think that it is
A variant.
a variant
Yeah.
of Doctor Strange that is
Strange.
gonna be Strange Supreme in the MCU.
Yeah,
Right.
because I mean, in the trailer we also see Strange marrying the person that he lost. Oh no, she didn't die actually in the Doctor Strange show.
She didn't die in
In the
Doctor
movie?
Strange, no.
But in the show, What If,
What If.
we see it constantly. Yeah, what did I say?
Absolute point.
What did I say? I said What If, right?
Yeah, you said
Yeah.
what if.
Okay, yeah, my bad. But yeah, like we see it time and time again where she dies in What If, and he tries to bring her back, and he wants to marry her. So I feel like there's an absolute point where he can't be with her, but he wants to be with her, and it just kind of echoes that What If, and then going into Multiverse of Madness. I feel like they've been teasing us with
Yeah.
Doctor Strange for a while now.
It's gonna be
That
huge.
it'll be
It's gonna
similar.
be huge. Everything's
gonna be
gonna be
amazing.
everything's gonna be unprecedented now.
Like they've been trying to
Um,
show us an evil Strange. They showed it like what, twice already?
Yeah.
Or he
Things
was
are
he was
about to
3
get
times?
interesting.
Yeah, it's really, really crazy. So over the weekend, Spider-Man pulled in about 300 million, close to it.
It
Um,
went from a 100 to a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes, I believe.
Nice. Yeah, it's the second highest grossing
Second.
movie next to Endgame. I think the exact number is like 290 something million, but it's damn near 300.
Yeah. And that
But-
was just the first weekend.
Yeah, and it's just on track to doing insane numbers. I think that every Marvel movie that is kind of pushing the entire universe will do $1 billion. Like it's almost automatic now. They're it's like Drake numbers. Like it's gonna be an automatic bill. Just every single time. I don't think there's
I think
a time that they'll miss.
that whole cast is just set for life, dog.
Well, no, the studio is set for life. The studio is good, but some of these actors, which is why Tom Holland doesn't know whether he's coming back for another trilogy, because he's trying to get that RDJ bread and say, hey, this one's bringing in $1 billion. I'm gonna need you guys to pay me 20
I was just
mil.
thinking, and I
each
want to talk about
next
this.
time.
I'm going to talk about this later too. I was just thinking how young these actors are, and that they could be like actors of the next decade.
Yeah,
Like the best
For sure.
actors of the next decade.
For sure.
For sure.
they
And
got plenty
I
of
will
time.
talk about that a little bit more later.
Totally.
But
We're gonna get into
all-
best actors and
all
all
in
that stuff in a
all-
little bit.
What'd you give the
What
movie?
did we rate the
rate it?
movie?
9 out of 10.
Yeah,
9.5.
9 out of 10.
If
9.7.
If Toby would have gave me a little bit more acting, like better acting,
He's old,
Then-
man.
doesn't
He's
mean
not that
anything,
old.
bro.
He doesn't look old or anything.
Sam
I mean,
Jackson,
I guess-
Sam Jackson's 73.
I guess
and-
Dafoe
Hey,
is
shout
old.
out Sam
Happy
Jackson.
birthday, Sam Jackson. He's
Dafoe
turned
was
73.
MVP of the movie, though. Like,
Dafoe, bro.
I can't wait to see Tom Holland Spider-Man have flashbacks
I
of
honestly-
the Goblin.
To be honest, I want to give the MVP to Doc Ock.
Alfred
he-
Molina.
Alfred Molina is the MVP. As much as I loved,
He had the most screen
William
time, I
Dafoe,
think.
not only did he have the most screen time, but he had to play two different versions of himself.
He played a Doc
And
Ock
he-
that we've never seen. Like in
He-
control, like
Yeah.
is still as powerful.
He
and
he played all the versions of Doc Ock that needed to be played in one movie.
Just without
and
the
what he
bowl
did.
cut.
So I give it to him. I think that he
Hello,
did that.
Peter.
Like
Yeah,
I
I
did,
know.
like with Willem.
Sheesh.
I still sometimes see that it's Willem, right? But with Doc Ock, I wasn't at all thinking, oh, that's Alfred Molina. I was like, that's Otto Octavius the entire time.
I mean, I don't know.
And
I
I
don't
think
think
that-
I've seen another movie with Alfred Molina in it.
That's
so,
my point.
Yeah.
So 9.7 all the way around.
Give it a
Um,
solid 9. 9.2.
That sucks though, because if
9.2.
I do
It's-
see him in another movie,
9.2.
I'm gonna be like, oh, that's Doc Ock.
It's definitely
That's
the
trash.
best third movie of any Marvel
It's a
MCU
great,
character.
yeah, it's a great
It's,
trilogy
the-
ender.
it's one of the better Spider-Man movies out of all the trilogies.
For sure. And
Because it involves all
Andrew
the
never got a
Spider-Man.
trilogy, but
it's
I
in
digress.
it's
Oh,
in the
we'll
top
see.
5 MCU
We will
movies.
see.
It
It
is
is top
it
five.
is in the top
Top 5
5.
hands down.
It will. They're I don't you
Top
can't-
three?
No.
Don't know if I don't know if it cracks the top 3, but it's in the top 5. I don't
Just
think
wait
that
till
there's
Doctor
any
Strange 2
way.
to come out.
Yeah.
I just don't think that there's any way to really
We'll have this
dispute
discussion at the end of 2022.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see.
for sure.
There's gonna be a lot coming out. But yeah, we will now get into our most anticipated. I hope you've been waiting for this.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ace Sincere with the SoundFlick Boys. This is the third annual? Second annual? Wow. What was I doing 2 years ago?
We didn't do one the first time around. Yeah, the
The
Flickies.
Flickies. If you guys don't know what the Flickies is, this is our take on all things flicks and
We
sounds.
should have had our fact checker introduce it.
Hold on, I have a quick fact check. We should do this. As we wrap up this segment, listeners, I have 2 fact checks for you.
Oh.
One,
Okay.
there is a POV shot in Homecoming, for sure, confirmed.
Haha.
And the total gross is 260 million US, 600 million globally, with the exclusion of China.
Wow.
You may now proceed to the next segment.
Why is China excluded?
I don't know.
Yeah,
That's just what
censorship.
that's what Google said. I don't know, man. I don't know any of this
Censorship.
stuff. I don't
I just
actually.
fact check.
Also,
How you
just so
gonna
y'all
just
know,
ruin that awesome transition?
I don't
for
know
us?
any of these facts. This is just I'm really good at Google, and also, no, that's it. No, yeah,
Our
that's it.
Googler.
But yeah,
Google.
finally getting into our Flickie Awards. A little bit excited to talk about these a little bit. Oh, did you change this or did you just add this?
I changed it.
Oh, okay. Because what was it before?
Doesn't matter. I
don't
changed
even
it.
remember.
All right, y'all.
I saw it earlier.
Just to
though.
kind of share some of the categories we'll be kind of touching base on. We got score of the year, show of the year, movie of the year, surprise movie of the year, animation of the year, best actor of the year, and then best actress of the year.
best actress. of the
Which
year.
I don't agree with. I feel like regardless of whether you're an actor or an actress, you are
Yeah.
an actor.
When I say
So-
actor, I don't mean it gender wise. It's just you're an actor.
It's just very hard to choose.
That's the point.
It's very hard to choose,
that's,
man.
That's the point. But I mean, yeah, I understand where you're coming from too. And when
We'll
you did
do it for
mention
this year. We'll be more inclusive next year.
Okay.
Yeah, when you did
Works for
mention it
me.
though, like I did have to do a little bit of thinking, and then just one came to mind. So that's good.
Cool. All right, y'all. Anybody want to kick it off?
Oh, yeah,
I'll go and take it. So-
Sure, score of the year. Let's go.
Cool.
We are SoundFlick, and we love
Yes,
sounds.
we did
and
want
we love
to. We
the
love
music
including.
and the sounds that are
Soundtrack,
incorporated
scores.
into these movies. So we thought it was a fitting category for us to discuss
Yeah.
the score of the year. The parameters of this category is the music and the sound of the movie that drew us in, that represented the style of the movie, that just really stood out on its own, and either made the movie or just brought something to the movie
Yeah.
that if it wasn't in there, it would have changed
Changed
the
the whole
entire
vibe,
dynamics, the
yeah,
entire
dynamic,
vibe. So for this year's awards, we are going to each select our winner, our personal flickie that we are giving to this movie
Flickies.
for score of the year.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, drum roll, please.
I don't have a drum roll sound effect. I gotta add that next
We
time.
should have
You
that.
do.
I guess I'll go first though. My score of the year is The Harder They Fall.
Reggae Cowboys.
Yeah, the Reggae Cowboys. It really just reminds me of like stuff like Bob Marley, like Buffalo Soldier type thing. Like it's just perfect. Like you don't think about cowboys outside of America, but there's cowboys all over the world, and bringing that reggae aspect into the movie, and then even originals with Kid Cudi and Jay-Z.
Right.
Just adding more hip hop to a cowboy movie. It was just
Peanut
beautiful.
butter and jelly, dog.
It made the movie. I wouldn't say it made it a lot better because the movie was already good, but it did make it better, I think. I don't know. I just felt so giddy, like listening to
So
the
giddy.
reggae.
I like that word.
Like it just
Giddy.
felt right hearing that sound selection for that movie.
Right.
Especially in a black cowboy movie, representing it through music and through actors. And yeah, that's my score of the year.
Cool. I'll follow up with Skywalker. So for myself, my favorite score / soundtrack of this year, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Shout out 88 Rising getting their flowers
Yes.
for this soundtrack. Very good mixture of pop and hip hop and great features. We get great features like Jhené Aiko, Sway Lee, yet again, 21 Savage, Rich Brian. I think Rick Ross is on there. Anderson .Paak has a single on there. Like just perfect combination of people that have their own Asian heritage,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But also the composer for the score itself was Joel P. West. Just the beauty of those Eastern Asian instruments being used in the fight scenes, or I think for me what really stuck out was when the father and mother meet and they're dancing and fighting, like just scenes like that, just super beautiful. So for myself, my flickie is going to go to Shang-Chi and
That's a
Legend of
good
the Ten
one.
Rings.
Yes,
That's
yeah,
a good one.
I agree.
I
with
like that
one.
one a lot too.
And Narik can attest with this with me. We did say Shang-Chi's soundtrack was better than CLB.
Yes, it was.
So
I still stand by that.
I still haven't heard that album.
My flickie is going to go to a recent movie that just came out,
Ooh.
starring Andrew Garfield, called Tick
Spider-Man.
Tick Boom. It
Still
is
haven't
the
seen it,
story
but I
of
will.
Jonathan Larson. If you peep our last episode, I go into it a little bit. I just felt that the songwriting was just amazing. The song performances
So Andrew
through the
Garfield
movie
can
was
sing.
great. Andrew Garfield can sing. He learned how
Damn.
to sing for this role. And all of the actors, Vanessa Hudgens was in it as well.
She's so
She was
fine.
singing. And there were just so many actors who were just giving it their all, and it just sounded great. The music was great.
Shout out Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yep, Lin-Manuel Miranda for writing and for working on that soundtrack and that score. It was just very, very well done. So they have my Flickie for this year.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I mean, musical. You would think there would be a musical.
Yeah, it's kind of like a
Score
cheat
of the year.
code, but
Not really.
They just
It's like
did
a
it.
cheat code, but not really.
Yeah, but not
I feel
really.
I
that.
mean,
No,
honestly, the
just did
picks
it.
that we have, I see it, and I really think, okay, yeah,
Proud of
these,
us.
These are good scores.
We know what
Yeah.
we're talking
of
about.
the year.
Do we have applauses?
Yeah,
Let's
of
get
course
some
we do.
applauses
We
in
got to get
for-
it,
for all
and
this
the
stuff.
winner is. I gotta update this.
All right, y'all. Well, that round of applause wraps up. Next category we are moving on to is drum roll, please.
How's the audio gonna pick this up?
Show of the year.
Show of
So
the year.
we have watched a crap load of shows this year.
Yes.
Streaming.
We have binged. We had our streaming wars.
Yeah.
We've had our own personal arguments and love for the same shows, and
Yeah.
so I'm very curious to see. I mean, I can see it in the notes, but to hear what my co-stars have to say.
Yeah.
So I'll just start it off real quick.
Yeah. Go for it.
My love for breakdown videos and theories.
Did it start here?
And dialogue all kind of came out because of this one show. So my Flickie of this year is gonna get given to WandaVision.
Nice.
WandaVision
All right.
set such a standard for one, just podcasts and breakdowns in general, for just general insight and theories. I really nerded out this year regarding that, and WandaVision is the main reason why.
Yeah.
But just beautifully written, beautifully shot, and just the overall impact that it had on the MCU alone.
Yeah, Mephisto, bro.
Look, man, he's there somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But my Flickie is gonna go to WandaVision.
Somewhere. But yeah, no, that's cool. I was actually going to choose a Marvel movie, and that was before I even saw your choice for WandaVision. But I was like, I feel like that's a little too easy. You know,
You didn't choose a Marvel movie for
I mean,
show
a
of the
movie
year?
show, a
Okay.
Marvel show,
A movie show.
I just didn't want it to be too
That is
easy.
what they're
Like a quick default, like, oh, that was easy.
You don't want it to be a popularity contest.
Yeah, because I feel like it's things. These are things that we liked a lot this
Mhm.
year, and while other people may disagree,
Mm-hmm.
I really liked True Story on Netflix. The movie, I mean, the show. I keep saying movie. The show with Kevin Hart and Wesley Snipes, where Kevin Hart plays himself and gets into this crazy situation where he's pretty much being set up, but he finds out he kills somebody and they have to get rid of the body, and it just leads to a whole snowball effect of things happening, and it just gets super out of hand. And I just feel like Kevin Hart is just out of his element. You know, he's still being, funny, but this show is just super dramatic, takes you for turns each end of the episode. You never want to stop watching it. I think even Narik was like, damn, I gotta go to sleep, but I just want to keep watching.
Yeah,
Right.
I binged it.
And yeah, like I did the same thing. So I really was shocked and surprised
Mhm.
about this show. I didn't know it was gonna come out until the day that it came out, and I saw what it was about when I read about it, and I just tapped in and never looked back. And I would say that's my show of the year. Like, that's the one that when I think of shows, I think off top that one. It was either gonna be that one or my honorable mention is Loki.
Mhm.
But yeah, I feel like Loki was a little too easy.
Okay. Yeah. I wanted to pick a non-Marvel TV show as well. Something that stuck out
Boo.
for me was Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
Hey man, Ted Lasso
Ted
was fire.
Lasso.
I always hear about that. I still haven't
is-
seen it.
Oh, just such an amazing, kind, original IP. I think, even though I get the guy's name wrong all the time.
Jason Sudeikis.
Thank you, Sincere.
Sudeikis.
He just played such a perfect character, and the cast all are perfect for the characters that they are. It's just such an original story, very, very well written, and you learn things while watching the show that I think is something that I always cherish whenever it comes to a TV show. A TV show needs to be more than just entertainment. You need to be able to like learn things. Like they address things like therapy and dealing with loss and coping with relationships and winning and believing in yourself and making changes for the better and growing. And they do all of this where that's wrapped in, not necessarily, I wouldn't call it particularly a comedy, but there's so much comedy in it. And it's just a beautiful show. It's a show that I hope continues for as many seasons as it could, as it possibly can,
without it overdoing it.
Yeah, exactly. Without it being overdone. I kind of put it in the same category. I feel like Jason has something like how Issa Rae has Insecure. Like it's just one of those shows that's very unique to the person who's writing it, and as long as the person who's writing it and who's believing in it is passionate about it, then it's going to be a great show, like regardless. So I just hope that he's aiming for 5-6 seasons, something along those lines. We're waiting on the 3rd season.
It's not only up to him though.
It's not only up to him, but
Apple TV,
I don't see any reason why they've won multiple Emmys for both seasons. They swept the Emmys, so like I think Apple TV as one of its IPs wants to keep it going.
Yeah. Right.
So I hope that he keeps it going.
I guess what I mean is not that they wouldn't keep a season going, is if Apple TV will last that long.
Oh, I mean, I think it can go wherever it needs to go. Some streaming services will buy it if it, for whatever reason, doesn't keep on Apple TV. Like for sure,
merge. I can see mergers happening.
Yeah, eventually, or like it being on Amazon or like something like
eventually,
that.
Some of these streaming platforms can be like, "Hey, we gotta look. Netflix is out of here. We gotta.
All right, we already had streaming wars. We don't need to talk about that, man.
Oh no.
But that is my pick for show of the year, Ted Lasso.
Can you take lead on the surprise movie of the year, sir?
Sure.
Yes.
All right. So for
you changed your pick again.
Let me get I just be doing stuff.
People be changing the picks over here, but it's cool. I did like both of your picks.
I didn't know these are called the pickies.
Yeah, right. The Flickies. We can get a round of applause, man. You got to be on the applauses.
It's because I got to keep changing back.
You don't have.
I need to get the button. And it'll be way easier.
Yeah. So our next category is surprise movie of the year, and
can you explain
this category? Yes, I know how to do this.
Thank you, man. Thank you, man. I'm sorry.
It's
been a long day.
This category is about the movie that was the unexpected. And that could be in multiple ways. So it could be a movie that maybe you had a perception about, and upon watching the movie and finishing the movie, it changed your entire perception of the movie. Or it can be a movie that you didn't have any expectations for, didn't think that it was going to be anything at all. It was just on a random, and all of a sudden it drew you in. Yeah. It brought you all the way to the finish. It sparked something in you and turned itself quickly into a movie that you share with others and encourage others to watch as well. So these are the picks for surprise movie of the year. Drum roll, please. My pick is Netflix's Concrete Cowboy.
Oh yeah,
that's a good pick.
With Idris Elba and homeboy from Stranger Things. Caleb
McLaughlin.
That's
Miles Morales in my mind.
Maybe Miles Morales needs to be black and Latino.
You're right.
But I'm with it. For sure. If they end up going that route, cool. But however, Concrete Cowboy is a movie about cowboys in Philadelphia, in the streets of Philadelphia, where, you know, obviously there isn't a lot of ranches or anything like that, but there was these cowboys who, you know, they raised horses in this concrete kind of place, and it really taught the people growing up there a lot of character, how to handle these animals, how to care for them, how to take care of them, stay out of trouble. It gave them an outlet that otherwise inner city kids would have fell to violence, gangs, and crime and drugs. And this movie was something that could have been fiction, but I think finding out that it was nonfiction, and that this was actually a place and that these characters actually exist, really upped it for me. And then on top of that, to find out that the people that do exist were in the movie acting as well, just set it over the top for me.
They were really good.
I really couldn't believe that they casted people who live there currently, and brought them to the screen as well. And that
it was
authenticity,
very cohesive and true to
such a good film.
What it's about.
Such a good film. Shout out Method Man for being in there as well. And it was just so well done. It was emotional. It was filled with drama, and I just love the authenticity that they chose to go with. And it was amazing. You know, it was a very fun watch. I was very grateful to be able to learn their story. And when I went to Philly, I wasn't able to go to the street, but I Google mapped it while I was there, and you know, it looked like how it looked in the movie, and I was just like, this is dope. Like, it's literally like north of here, 40 minutes. You know what I mean? So that was pretty cool, just to kind of even be in the vicinity of history, especially in being in a city that's so filled with history itself.
Now we need to go.
Yeah, one day.
For sure.
So I'll go next. My surprise movie of the year was King Richard. This is
HBO.
This is look at us, like switching
sides.
platforms. But this movie, I didn't know it was gonna come out this year. I didn't see no promo for it really up until probably the month it was gonna come out, and then I saw it was gonna come out on HBO Max. So I was like, sure, I think I'll watch that movie. And I think if I would have saw it in theaters, I would have liked it just as much, maybe a little bit more. But I didn't have any expectations for this movie. I'm not really a fan of like these type of like biopic origin type stories, and especially with Will Smith, I feel like he's never really been the actor that I think people always wanted him to be. And other than, you know, in Pursuit of Happiness, one of his best movies, and this kind of resembled that same emotion in King Richard, and especially with the true story, as heartfelt as, you know, the Williams family coming up from where they did and where they are now, you know. And it really took them so long, and it pays homage to their dad, Richard, and yeah, like this movie just is super heartfelt, really good acting, even like I said, from Will Ferrell, from the daughters that played Venus and Serena. John Bernthal was really good in the movie.
Fire.
And I learned a lot from the movie that I kind of, since I've seen the movie, I actually think about it a lot. And it's something that Will Smith said. Obviously, he didn't say it, but in the movie, his character said, you always have to believe in yourself even when nobody else does. You know, because nobody's gonna do that for you, you know.
Right.
It's just you. And if you don't believe in yourself, who else will?
Right.
So I always think about that still. It just really stayed in my head. I feel like now Will Smith is trying to be more inspirational, and I think he really hit home with that one. And that's my surprise movie of the year. It really did surprise me.
All right.
My surprise movie of the year is very surprising.
Very surprising indeed.
Space Jam: A New Legacy.
I'm gonna need you to explain.
Elaborate.
Look, man. I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. I think what really caught me off guard and why I liked it so much, which I kind of talked about in the Space Jam episode, was that WB was using their properties properly.
Mm-hmm.
The movie was genuinely funny. It was a great family film. I thought the whole premise was dope. We get badass Don Cheadle as basically the antagonist. And look, man, LeBron's not a good actor.
No,
We all
he's
know
not.
this.
No, he's not.
He's not a good actor at
Worse
all.
than Jordan.
But cartoon LeBron,
Voice acting
very-
LeBron,
very-
yeah, it's
very
easier to
tolerable.
do for sure.
just overall, I really enjoyed the movie. From the promo to the score, I still have my box of Space Jamos up in the studio.
Oh yeah,
But
you can't
I
eat those
see it
no
every
more.
day. No, I already ate them. I already ate them. I kept
Oh,
the
okay.
box.
That's a
You can't eat
cereal.
those no more.
I already ate those.
That's
Kept
funny.
the box. But no, yeah, Space Jam: A New Legacy was just a really it really surprised me, and it really was surprising on how much I actually enjoyed the film.
All right.
So yeah,
okay.
Space Jam: A New
A round
Legacy.
of applause.
Yeah, there you go. That was the surprise movie of the year.
We'll save in the notes the one that's next. We'll save that for the very end of it. So we'll just jump ahead to animation of the year.
Oh, you want to do that? All right, yeah, we'll save that too.
Yeah. Animation of the year. So we were kind of talking about this, should we pick animated movie? But there is a lot of dope shows that came out this year that have
Yeah.
really great animation.
And I feel like me personally, I only saw 2 animated movies that I remember, and I just didn't want to just pick a movie one of the
Oh,
two.
you changed yours.
I did. I agreed with you.
Yeah, I did see that too. I just didn't want to go with the two. And then 2 movies that I'm just gonna mention is Luca and Meet the Mitchells. Both movies were cool and
Mitchell
fun.
versus Machines.
Mitchell versus the Machine. Yeah, Meet the Mitchells is something else,
Meet
right?
the Millers.
Meet the Millers. Yeah.
Or We Are the Millers. Something like that.
The Mitchells versus the Machines and
Or
Luca.
Raya and the Last Dragon.
I didn't watch that one. I didn't want to, but yeah, I just didn't even. Like I said, I didn't feel like I watched too many animation movies, so I was like, let's just go animation of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And I went with What If.
Solid choice.
So fire.
Fire show. It's the first Marvel canon show.
TV show, animated TV show.
Animated TV show. And it's just crazy what they did. Each episode, giving us new stories from previous stories, just changing little facts or changing a lot of facts, with Thor not having a brother, to something as little as just instead of Rogers getting the serum, it's Peggy getting the serum,
Captain
So
Carter.
I just really enjoyed all the stories, and even where it's leading up to. Obviously, that last episode was insane. Getting the Guardians of the Multiverse, and then Supreme Strange just in charge and leading the command, and they're all fighting, and pretty much just bringing elements of different episodes into that one with the zombies and the USB and all that different stuff, So it was just really fun. Probably, yeah, I think it's the best animation of the year.
Quick detour with that when you just brought that up right now. Another cool thing that they squeezed into No Way Home is Peter with Doctor Strange's cape.
Yeah, they did.
Quickly.
Yeah,
where they kind of showed
when
that.
he was trying to catch him.
Yeah, I thought that was great. But I think that's a great pick, man. And I think the only other pick really to rival that, and Sincere I think agrees with me,
Yes, sir.
is the animated show Invincible.
Amazon, baby.
By Amazon Prime.
And they did it without the hype that Marvel has.
Yeah,
While doing
they
its
just
own great marketing run.
Mhm.
yeah, and it was just such a good show. The animation, I mean, yeah, the voice cast was insane. But the animation, I really want to focus on the animation of it, the adult cartoon, just really, really well done with the sound. All of the animation and the sound together was just perfection.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything that was out of place. There wasn't anything that was drawn incorrectly. All of the emotion that you get from the show, you see on the animation that makes you feel it, which I think is just huge with being able to convey what's going on. And just shout out to the voice actors, all of the voice actors who lent their talents to that show, and all of the animators who put that together. We got some of the most intense things we've ever seen from a superhero show that are buried in my brain,
Right.
that I just love. Sincere, you have something to say?
No,
to
you kind of hit the nail on the head, man. Just overall, just from the first episode and the tone that was kind of set for what type of show to anticipate, and then just the hype built around it from showing the cast to them being in the studio voice acting and what's to come, and kind of highlighting this great comic that kind of got overlooked for a little bit. Yeah, I highly suggest go watching Invincible, but season 2 and 3, I'm waiting.
Yep. All right. Well, round of
Absolutely.
applause. Good ones, guys. Some good picks. So,
all right.
We'll get
Next
into,
category. Go ahead,
into the meat
Skywalker.
and potatoes. The best
The meat and
actor
potatoes.
of the year. And should I go first or?
Yeah.
All right. So, I feel like I've talked about Tom Holland
Best
a lot.
actor of the year.
Best actor of the year. I feel like I've talked about Tom Holland a lot this year. I even mentioned about doing a Tom Holland episode at one point this year, which we didn't get to, but we probably still will in the near future.
We'll see how Uncharted
He has a few movies that he has this year. He has Cherry,
Chaos
Walking,
and then
and
the
Spider-Man.
top movie of the year. He was pretty much in the beginning, middle, end of the movie,
Mm-hmm.
and then even didn't come out this year, but it was still a good run of movies when he did Devil All the Time, and then Cherry came out, and then Chaos Walking. Obviously, it didn't come out this year, but I was just so like that. He's just on my radar at that point. And then I heard he's gonna be in Uncharted, and I'm like, damn, he's really out here, you know, like, so yeah, pretty much these 3 movies were pretty good. I think he played the roles really well in all 3 movies. He's the main character,
right,
and just a young character, like just a young actor. Just like I said earlier, this actor has the potential of being actor of the next decade, you know. And I mean, he's shown it in Spider-Man. He's shown it in Cherry. He's shown it in Chaos Walking. He's shown it in Devil All the Time. I mean, I can't wait to get more of Tom Holland. Obviously, Uncharted looks a little iffy, but every time I see the trailer more and more, I get a little bit excited because I'm like, oh, you know, it doesn't look that bad.
yeah.
It's the stills for me, like seeing like the still picture.
Maybe they'll clean it up.
I feel like it looks great, like from a photography standpoint, but I don't know about the movie. But we'll see. We'll talk about that next
See
year.
how Mark holds up.
Let's see. That's my best. That's my actor of the year.
Okay.
Yeah,
Tom Holland.
actor of the year for me. Very not a lot of drops, but very important drops. Okay, Jonathan Majors. Some of you may know him from Lovecraft.
Yes.
Or some of you may know him as
He Who Remains.
He Who Remains. I remember when we said like, "Hey, Kang's coming. Jonathan Majors is Kang. Are we gonna get Kang at the end of Loki?" And just the 10 minutes that he spent on screen was the most important 10 minutes in the MCU this year.
Yep.
Just introducing the whole multiverse and him just like, I'm here, but I'm not here yet.
Yeah.
And him being a very reserved version of King the Conqueror.
Yeah.
Just really set the tone.
And he was in The Heart of the Fall.
Yes, exactly. In The Heart of the Fall, he
The Heart of the Fall.
He kisses as he beats on screen, man. This man is actor of the year. As he so fire.
That's his criteria.
Hey, man.
I
call it like
very
I see
simple
it.
criteria.
But no, just 2 very important roles. He killed it. I'm so excited to see what's next. But just him getting ready to be the MCU's next big bad is so anticipated on my end. So Jonathan Majors, actor of the year, sir.
Awesome.
Cool.
My pick for this year is Mr. Oscar Isaac as the actor of the year. I think Oscar's really, ever since he kind of, I know he's been acting before, but he kind of hit the scene when Force Awakens came out and he played Poe.
He broke out of his stereotypical role in that movie.
What was the stereotypical role
Always
before
dying, like early in the movie. And all his roles, he would just die.
Before that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's great. That he kind of that he broke out of that. But I just think he's been on this run. He's really like come into his own as an actor, like as a seasoned, kind of like adult actor, so to speak. Like he kind of fits the Hollywood mold in a way that
it's kind of
that's
strange.
like, yeah, he
I
just
mean,
he just
he just seasoned well.
well, yeah, he just
Like you
seasoned
said,
well.
yeah.
Exactly, he really seasoned well. And what I love about him is that he's willing to get fully into character. He's willing to do what it takes, you know,
Right.
to be it on all scales.
Hmm.
So he has a show with Jessica Chastain on HBO. I can't remember the name of it right now, but it's not super important to remember the name. It's just that like the way that the show was is that he's just playing this this husband to her, and that like they're going through their marital issues, and like he's just playing it so nuanced. And then you move on to a movie like The Card Collector, I believe that's what it's called, that he was just in with Tiffany Haddish and who else was in that? And Willem Dafoe was in that movie as well, where he played just this totally different actor, you know, or totally different character, with, and like you didn't see Oscar Isaac in it. And then you move on to like a major, you know, movie like Dune, you know, where it's just like this huge blockbuster, you know, kind of thing, and he's a major character in that as well. So I just love how he can play in all of the fields, and like the artsy field in a super blockbuster that's like full of CGI and everything like that, and then also play like this dope indie movie actor that can pull off, you know, whatever character you kind of throw at him.
Just give him the assignment, and he knows how to execute it well.
He understands the assignment, and he understood the assignment for this year. I think he did just a really, really good job this year, and I'm excited for him joining the MCU as Moon Knight and what that's going to look like for next year.
Yeah.
And I think that he's only going to have more and more movies that are going to come out that are going to be great. You know, I don't know what kind of actor really to compare him to as yet, but I think seasoned is a good way to put it, and I just feel like we're going to see him in a lot of different movies, and he just has an exciting career. Yeah. So he's my actor of the year.
Nice. Well, so piggybacking off of actor of the year, we're gonna jump into actress of the year. Mm-hmm. We kind of said like we didn't want to separate the two, but also it's kind of hard not to, just because lady actresses, they really just kind of held their own this year, as they usually do. So for me, I really couldn't just pick like one actor of the year this for their profession. So for me,
who you got?
Wanda. Elizabeth Olsen, bro.
Jumping on the hype.
Look, man, Elizabeth Olsen, she's crazy. Her range, nuts. But overall, again,
she didn't even have to do multiple movies because her show caused her to be multiple different people, and she pulled it off. She
acted so well in WandaVision that it's just been implanted in my brain for what's next. Right? From her being that I Love Lucy type, to her being the Malcolm in the Middle type, to her just being this mom figure. Well, she's technically not even a mom, all while being her becoming the Scarlet Witch. Short and sweet. Elizabeth Olsen is just,
I feel it.
You know,
I feel it.
Actress of the year, in my opinion.
All right.
Nice.
Skywalker.
Nice. Well, my actress of the year was almost my actor of the year until we decided to split the roles. But the reason I went with Tom Holland is because he generally plays main characters. As this actor, well, she's still really good, Zendaya. Phenomenal actor. She just hasn't broken onto that main character role, but she has played in more movies than Tom Holland has this year.
She has.
I have the list of it right here.
Oh, damn.
She was recently in No Way Home, obviously, in Dune, in Space Jam: New Legacy, and Malcolm and Marie.
She was Lola. I forgot.
So I just think that's an amazing feat. And especially as a couple, you know, that's a power couple for sure. Like, yeah, they're really just like.
It's funny because in public,
it's like
they're not
real
very
recognized real.
Yeah.
Like, you just, they know what they are. You know, they know they're valuable. obviously they see other things in each other as well. But again, going back, like these two actors can be like actors of the next decade.
I would love to see a
'cause
Mr.
they're
and
so
Mrs.
young,
Smith-esque movie with
you
them.
know?
Mr. and Mrs. Smith-esque movie with.
Yeah, and obviously,
cool.
even if they're not together in the long term, they still are really good actors. Can't wait to see what if they they say Spider-Man
next.
4 is in development, and we'll see if Michelle Jones Watson is going to be in it or
Jones. She doesn't go by Watson. Like that. You like that, huh?
and we'll see if she actually
Well done.
eventually breaks onto the scene with the main role. Because the only main role I think she has is this HBO show that she's
Euphoria.
on. Euphoria.
Mhm.
That's the only main role that she has, and it's really good. Like that's when I first started peeping who Zendaya
I don't know, man.
was.
She really carried the marketing for Dune, and she was in it for like 12 minutes.
That's what I'm saying. Like
She carried all that
But,
marketing.
yeah,
for
they
Dune, bro.
used her.
I'm
Yeah.
excited to see what was gonna happen with Dune and her. Obviously
Yeah,
they're
and
creating
the
next one.
sequels and the sequels coming up. I feel
Yeah,
like.
and just more movies like Malcolm and Marie, like indie movies. Like I want to see something like that as well. So really cool. Obviously we're not gonna get into the Space Jam, but
No, we don't need that ever.
she's doing well for herself, and I think that's enough for Actress of the Year.
All right,
Reek, your pick, bro.
yeah, my pick is the lovely, the queen,
She's so fine.
incomparable Viola Davis.
I would love to. I would love
my
to have
actress
lunch with
of the
her
year.
and just pick her brain.
She's fantastic. I feel like that she, like she's always been great. She's always been in these movies just doing so well, but she always got like supporting actress of the at the Oscars or the Academy or different things like that. And I think that she can hold a movie on her own.
Yeah.
As we've seen, she was definitely the highlight and irreplaceable as Amanda Waller in the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
And her role in Unforgivable, which is a new movie that has Sandra Bullock. She does well in as also, and I think ever since Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, I think that was the role where people were like, oh, okay, Viola Davis is really about this, and it shouldn't have taken that long.
Yeah, for me it was The Help, and The Help was what, 2012,
something like that. It was earlier, but I appreciate her, and I think that she's just getting better and better with time. And
like wine.
Yes, and I'm just very grateful to have just such a strong, powerful Black woman who is just an incredible actor, who can act opposite anybody and not get upstaged, in any sort of way, and could lead her own film. So Viola Davis is my actress of the year.
This Flickie's for you, ma'am. All right, y'all. Last category.
Yeah.
Let's kind of just jump right into it. This is movie of the year. This is
the year.
out of all the streaming sites, out of
Some
all the
round of applause, some stuff. This
out of
is
all the
big.
all the time and money we spent watching different films and going to the theater at night and during the day, it kind of comes down to this movie on their own personal levels.
Yeah.
Skywalker, go ahead and start off because I know you're really excited about your pick.
No, for sure. 007 No Time to Die. Like this movie,
It's a good pick.
Daniel Craig, final leg of 007, really acted his ass off. Still does his own stunts. And as old as he was, I think a few times in the 007 movies he's done, they had to get set back because of injuries. So the fact that he's still putting his body through that just for one final hoorah, and the way it was set up, it wasn't like the other Bond movies where he's just like super like, all right, I'm the guy. Like, you come to me when you need something, or like you hope you don't run into me. I'm the boogeyman type thing. And this one was just totally flipped upside down. He was not that. When they needed a 007's help, it wasn't the James Bond 007. It was somebody totally different.
Right.
So, this movie, just from the music, this was almost score of the year for me as well. I think it was Hans Zimmer who did the score. That was good. The way it was shot, the acting, the story, the actors, down to Rami Malek was in it. Jeffrey Wright was in it. He was in all of them, and he played a great
Felix?
role. Yeah, Felix, rest in peace. And yeah, I mean, just all around, this movie was just super exciting, super grandiose. Goes back to just that feeling of what Christopher Nolan and them kind of bring you, that grandiose, epic vibes. And,
Yeah.
you know, you just can't get enough of it. I just wish we would get more Daniel Craig, but I know he wants to do more in his life, and we're going to get a new 007. And the thing that I like about the new 007 we're going to get is that they're actually building off the Daniel Craig universe.
Nice.
So he'll be canon to the next 007, which is really cool. It's something that we've never gotten in 007. So can't wait for that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Ooh.
No time to
All
die.
right. I gave no other movie above a 9 this year except for this movie.
Yeah.
Thinking back to
Okay.
all of our podcasts, all the episodes and things we watched. Aside from Matrix, I'm not sure how I feel yet because it hasn't released as of yet.
Yeah. Some
I'm
some
sure-
movies we couldn't wait on. Some shows
Yeah.
we couldn't.
So-
Matrix is not going to win movie of the year, so it's okay.
Yeah. So,
could have won a
hey
surprise.
man, I'm just trying to support my
Yeah.
boy Keanu. I love him too much. Spider-Man: No Way Home. Just
Solid pick.
again, just the theories and just the overall engagement I had
Yeah.
ready
Yeah,
for
you-
this movie.
I feel like out of all of us, you were the most invested.
You're damn right.
You were ready to get spoiled before the movie came
I
out.
was-
Yeah, it was crazy.
Look, guys,
You were like the
me and
shield
Sky-
for us.
Me and
like,
Skywalker had
I'll
the
get
endless
spoiled
had the
before you
endless
guys.
theory. Yeah, me and Skywalker had the
He
endless
threw his body
theory.
on the line for us.
Me and Skywalker
yeah.
had the endless theory battles, and Skywalker with the whole expect
Hey, man,
disappointment, don't get disappointed.
You did not think Charlie Cox was gonna be in this
I didn't.
movie. Out of everybody, you thought everybody else was gonna be in it except for Charlie Cox. And I was like, how?
Well,
He's the most plausible, but yeah, it happened, and we had fun watching. too,
yeah. So overall, Spider-Man: No Way Home. Yeah.
Excuse me, just to your point, I think it's the only movie that I saw twice in theaters this year.
Oh, that's a good point.
So
Yes.
Yeah, that's a
I
really
don't
good
think
point.
there was anything
I
else
didn't do that
I
either.
went back to watch it
I
again.
want to see it
so-
again, but I will hold off just a little bit.
No, take that back. I saw Shang-Chi twice.
Oh, really?
Okay, I only saw
Yeah, I
that
did.
one once.
I did.
I saw it once as well.
But not really because like I wanted to, like where it was like I need to go see it again. It was
Right.
kind
Yeah,
of
it wasn't
like,
one of those.
oh well, like I'm down to go see it again. It was one of those, but like
Mm.
No Way Home, I was like I need to go see it again.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
a must.
Yeah. Cool. I think that those both of those were great and great experiences watching a movie in the
You
theaters.
changed this one too?
No, man.
No,
that
was
was
this
the
one
original
that-
one that I picked.
Was it
Yes.
really?
Yes.
I don't like your pick, man, but I want to hear why.
Why?
You love this pick. Because
Yeah,
it's just so
It was
toxic.
shot well.
What are you talking about? Okay, so my pick and the movie of the year for me was Malcolm and Marie. And this is a Netflix film that that came out and it is starring John David Washington and Zendaya. And I love this film because of how unlikely it was. Like how it was a film that was shot in the middle of the pandemic.
Yeah.
It was shot
Yeah.
in 12 days. It had one location, 2 actors. It just doesn't make sense. But the story and how these actors wove through their emotions and how it built and how it was filmed and the shots that they had in black and white, it was just cinema at its greatest, in
Yeah.
my opinion. I just thought that it was such a
They
chance.
really went bare bones for that movie.
Yeah, it was just such a chance that Sam Levinson took, who's the director. Just believing in John David Washington and Zendaya, who are arguably 2 of the most highly sought after up and coming Black actors, and just putting them to go against each other in multiple dialogues and monologues, and it was just theater. We were just watching theater on its own in the middle of a pandemic that they dedicated 12 days
Yeah.
to intensely do, and I appreciate that. I think that deserves recognition as a movie. It's not this overly you know, these huge
movie.
budgets.
Yeah.
It's not all this stuff. The budget was like 2.5 million to do it, you know, that which probably came out of everybody's pocket, you know, kind of put together. And I just appreciate them doing that. You know, it was clearly a movie from passion, not from trying to like get something from it.
Yeah, not
And,
trying to be. Yeah, I know what you mean.
you know, and I just appreciate them. Like, it was almost like them just kind of flexing their own acting abilities. And I thought it was great. It was a very enjoyable watch. Yes, it was, you know, the content of the movie was pretty toxic, just to your point, Sincere. You know, relationships can get like that sometimes. And I just thought it was really cool. Like, it caused emotion inside me,
Right.
which I think is something that every movie should do, aside from it being entertaining.
Yeah.
So, yeah, in encompassing all of what a movie is, Malcolm and Marie get my Flickie for this year.
All right, y'all. Well, that's our last category. Though that wraps
me a
up our
round of
flickies.
applause.
Yeah, give them a round of
Last-
applause, man.
Not only the last category, but this is the last episode of the year.
Yes. So
Right.
episode 62.
Regular episode, at least.
Once again, y'all, we have seen tons of growth on this podcast. Speaking for myself, I'm sure each of my co-stars are gonna go through their own. But me personally, I just want to thank you guys for sticking with us. Growth and sharing and spending time with us and going to the theater with us and just genuinely just engaging with us.
Yeah.
You know, naturally, we don't really put money behind promotion. We just love tag teaming with our community and just including ourselves wherever we can. We're still in a pandemic, but you guys have just shown us that you're gonna support us, pandemic or not. So we thank you. And
Yeah.
you know, on behalf of
Looking forward
SoundFlick,
to
my name is Ace Sincere.
2023.
Thank y'all, my co-stars.
Oh, we appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thank you for rocking with us. And if you want to start a podcast yourself, you can reach out to productiveculture.com/podcast in order to start your own, and tell them that the SoundFlick boys sent you.
Price going up in 2022, boys.
Yeah.
If you guys support us.
Amen.
We love you all. Peace. Good
Peace.
night.